again. But I think a part of
no, that's fine.
that play is that we love my soul clutch. You know, and guys got a little hungry. Guys got a little bit hungry. I don't think that's going to be the case on Saturday. I think we're both going to get
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, T. Kell, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. T. Kell and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suits your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Hi there, Swain Event family. Are you in the market to purchase a home and a bit freaked out with the market right now? As someone who's been in your spot before, I'm familiar with what's going through your brain. And as a realtor, I've mastered the ins and outs of the buying process. When you work with me, you'll benefit from my experience, and together we'll work toward making sound, smart decisions for your future. And of course, talk a little Vol Sports along the way. Just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 laps and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hope you are having a great morning. 865-255-03 is our telephone number to the Irish Networks hotline. I am live here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive, where over 150 vehicles are in stock, lifetime warranty for most new and pre-owned vehicles. Never pay over MSRP for new vehicles here at Beatty Chevrolet and BeattyChevrolet.com. Beatty will trade for anything and will even buy your vehicle. It's where I'll be for 3 hours today, maybe even longer, as I look over the lot and see what we can possibly take home. It's about time to expand, more additions to the family, a dog, kids are getting older, maybe time to expand. So maybe be here a little bit longer than just 10 a.m. today. But Ben is live there at the Low T Center studio. My friend Ben, good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning. I am doing well, very blessed. Good weekend, other than the result of the football game. But first, I do want to offer my thoughts and prayers to VFL, Jarrell Taylor. Scary injury last night in the Steelers-Seahawks game on Sunday Night Football. Just really scary scene watching him cart it off. Not just cart it off, but cart it off on a backboard and had to have his head taped to the backboard. And just again, a real scary situation. Saw Cam Sutton, his former teammate, looking on in grave concern, and the whole Seahawks and Steelers looking on with a lot of concern, and was glad to see that he was able to move his limbs, and he was talking. And I have not seen an update since I went to bed. Last I heard, he was on his way to the hospital, to the ER, but was able to move his legs and was speaking, and so those are obviously good signs, but just a real unfortunate situation, and not that it matters in this type of situation, but man, he was playing such great football after having to sit out last year with a really bad leg injury that happened here at Tennessee, and rebounded well and was playing great football. So thoughts and prayers to VFL Darrell Taylor this morning.
Yeah, the latest I saw, I was up to about 1 o'clock, so I saw the report. NBC said that he was, he had a feeling of all of his extremities, and he was speaking, and so they're gonna do all the preliminary testing and all the testing just to make sure that he's okay. But looks like he is okay, and it was more precautionary reasons of why they went on ahead and took him into the hospital and just made sure that he was okay. So it looks like he's going to be okay. And when something like that happens, man, the game of football is secondary, and the health of a young man is the most important thing. And so in this case, it's even more powerful, even more so the case because he's a VFL. So me and my wife was in mid-sentence when he went down. I was like, oh, whoa, wait, hold on. That's Darrell Taylor. So glad that he is going to be okay. We got a packed show, obviously, right? A lot happened during the weekend. A lot happened during the course of the football game, before the football game, and I want to make sure that in our first segment that we are able to both give ourselves time to lay out our points from the football game. And we'll take phone calls in our second segment. And you're always welcome to call 865-250-5503. But our first segment, we're going to make sure that we are getting our points across on what we saw during the game and before the game, after the game. And then we'll go to the phones because I know a lot of people have a lot of things on their mind, on their chest, on their heart, and want to give you the opportunity and the platform to be able to share that. I got a chance to meet Big Orange Mac, Coy from Macon, a ton of Tennessee fans that support this show and have supported this show for 11 years. And I just want to tell you I appreciate you. It was good to meet you and look forward to seeing you again. Whether you are from outside Tennessee or from Tennessee that you drove in, I really appreciate you. I understand the sacrifices that many people make to come to games. The prices, the hotel prices were outrageous this weekend, and I appreciate the sacrifices made to get to this football game and support Tennessee. I really do. And I got a chance to learn that in the last decade and a half of not playing football and being able to have conversations with fans, and I've learned that. And so I just want to say I appreciate that. I want to thank all your fans for making Neyland Stadium special. It was special. I was sitting there talking to Chris Brown during one of the breaks, the Big Orange Hotline on Vol Network, our pregame show that's an hour and a half before kickoff, and we were taking in the Vol Walk. We were taking in the band playing outside Neyland Stadium, and we were like, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is the way it once was, and this is what we're going to get back to. But this is the way it's supposed to be. And you go inside the stadium, the atmosphere was amazing. The sight of Check and Neyland was amazing. And Ben, I don't know if you remember, but we had a pretty detailed conversation about the experience, the fan experience, the atmosphere, and how you can chew bubblegum and walk at the same time, and you can do both. You can win, you can try to win and put all your effort into winning the football game, and that's what the coaches and the players do each and every day in their preparation. But then you have an event staff. You have the leadership from the AD and his team that want to put together a memorable moment to create some cool memories. And you have a good time. The outcome of the game, if you're playing at 7:30, is not going to come until 10:30, 11 o'clock. So having fun up until the outcome is the goal. And I saw a lot of tweets from people talking about this is one of the funnest games that they went to. They had a good time. The atmosphere was unreal. The intro onto the football field, running through the power tee with the lights off and the light shining on the power tee and on the band forming the tee. Ben, it was unreal, man. It was breathtaking.
It was, and I was thankful to have a bird's eye view of that, and I was totally unexpecting the new details to running out of the tee, with how the LED lights lit up the tee, and it just set for a really cool scene, and the fireworks going off at the same time. I got a really cool photo of it that I did tweet out, and I was just looking at it yesterday and still kind of taken back by how beautiful of a scene it was. Just again with the LED lights shining specifically on the tee as the players were running out, and all of the other lights were out in the stadium, or there was those dim orange lights on throughout the stadium that really made the stadium pop, and the fireworks really added to the scene. It was just amazing. And Checker kneeling in the background, pretty much every spot in the stadium full filled, except for that one spot in the upper deck that did fill in as the first quarter kind of went along. It was just really cool. And as I said on Thursday, on Friday, good luck finding a better pregame scene in college football.
Hard to find one, man. Hard to beat that. You know, I saw a photo of Checker kneeling with the fireworks that were put on the top of the stadium this year. I love that change, but there was a still shot, and it reminded me of the still shots we saw from the Battle of Bristol, and how amazing that scene was. And man, in the studio there, I have a panoramic view photo blown up on the wall, and I don't know, man, I might have to update it. I might have to change that one out, because that view on Saturday night was 10 times better than the photo I got on my wall. It's truly amazing. But had a couple favorites, man. And then we'll get into this football game, parts of the day. So Thursday and Friday I was out of town. It was fall break. I took my family out of town, and man, they do so much to sacrifice for me allowing me to do this show. I broadcast out of the house. You know, a lot of times, my schedule is something they have to adjust to and revolve around, and especially during football season. And so it was about them during fall break, and so we went out of town and took them on like a little vacay, and so did the show Thursday and Friday. But I just wasn't in the studio with Ben. Saturday, I got up about 4 o'clock in the morning, packed up the car, and we drove back to Knoxville. No traffic, all was beautiful. And the reason I want to get back so fast, even though the game was at 7:30, is because TC in Athens and DR Vol and you and a couple guys were meeting at Dead End Barbecue, and I want to get back and just say hi, and so I was able to do that. That was my first favorite part of the day. And then I got a chance to bring my 3 kids to the pregame. We tailgated a little bit. I got a chance to see Turkey Man and his stepson Thomas before they went to the game. I got a chance to see Sandoval again, meet so many fans, and for me that was just amazing. During the broadcast there on Vol Network, Big Orange Hotline, John Wilkerson and Brent Hubbs, Chris Brown this week, and myself, TC in Athens, who calls into this show, who's been a lifetime Tennessee fan, and TC and I, talked on Friday about getting the creators of Check and Kneeling, Tim McLeod and Spencer Barnett, to the game, and TC made it happen with Spencer. And during the Big Orange Hotline, Big Orange Countdown show, Danny White joined us in the first segment, and we were able to introduce Danny White to Spencer Barnett, and I was able to share the story with Danny White about Check and Kneeling and the start of it and who was responsible. And that was special to me because I know how much Spencer cares about Tennessee, loves Tennessee, and Check and Kneeling is his baby, Tim and Spencer's baby. And that was special for me. 11 years I've been doing this. Obviously, the platform is a bit bigger. There's more attention put on the Swain Event. I appreciate it. I'm very, very grateful. I understand the responsibility. But if I'm not using my platform to add value in the lives of others, why have it? Why have it? And I've been able to make some suggestions to our administration. I've been able to have a conversation with our administration and have a relationship with our administration to be able to do things like this and bridge the gap between our administration and our fans. And I think it's important as we move forward to try to bring this football program back. I've said on this program, it's going to take all of us. It's not just the players and the coaches. It's just not the boosters and the donors and the president, the AD and chancellor. It's all of us. And I want to make sure that Danny White knew who Spencer Barnett was, and now he knows. And so that was special to me. That was one of my favorite parts of the day, probably my favorite part of the entire day. I gotta give credit to Ole Miss football team. They came into a hostile environment. It came into a hostile environment. It was loud. I don't know how they were able to hear, but they played well enough to win. And Matt Corral is the real deal. He had a great game. He showed the world why he is a Heisman favorite. Tennessee intercepted him for the first time all year. That was his first interception all year. Tennessee defense did a great job of creating a turnover for Matt Corral. So, Ben, let's get into this game right quick, and then I want to get to a break, and then we'll get to the phones. But football is such a cool game because, like, the smallest play, the smallest detail can make the biggest difference sometimes in a football game. Tennessee won the toss, elected to defer, get the ball in the second half, which put Ole Miss's offense on the field first. And I was sitting right there around the 40-yard line, had some great seats, had a great view, and the gentleman I was sitting next to, I said, this is what you want, because now you want to give your crowd a chance to set the tone and be loud. And that was the case. Multiple times it was third down, it was loud. Unfortunately, they converted on a couple fourth downs, but we did get a stop and forced those guys to punt because they had a couple penalties. Ole Miss was the most penalized team in the country, so they did exactly what they've been doing all year long. Zebra doesn't change the stripes, just the location. And Ole Miss has been getting penalty yards at home. They've been getting penalty yards on the road, and they did the same thing in the first drive. Crowd's rocking, Ben. I mean rocking. And we talked about 2015 Oklahoma and what made that game special, what made the atmosphere special, was the fact that we jumped on Oklahoma early. It was 17-0, and the crowd was in it from start to end. Well, Ole Miss converting those fourth downs a couple times, we had to sit on down, had to be quiet. Well, we finally get a stop and they punt, and we muffed the punt. And we've been sure-handed there with Velus Jones all year long. But this ain't the Coliseum. This ain't playing against Arizona. Velus did something that we didn't see him do here at Tennessee. He took his eyes off the ball and dropped it. He's been sure-handed all year long. But the weight of this game is just different. It's different playing in this conference. It's different playing in that type of atmosphere. I think the nerves got the best of him. He took his eyes off the football because that's an easy punt to catch, and he dropped it. And so he gave Ole Miss basically free touchdown, Ben, free touchdown. And it made it hard for the crowd to really, really get into it as quick as we wanted them to. But, man, the next opportunity they had, they were in it, Ben.
Yeah, and to start the game, it was just giving Ole Miss 9 lives, essentially. The defense did a great job of playing bend but don't break defense and forcing a punt. And as you said, Velus takes his eye off the football, and then it's muffed, and Ole Miss has the ball inside the 10, 15-yard line. I forget exactly which yard line it was in which Ole Miss took over on, but they were primed with great field position, and you'll have to help me remember the details, Swain. But then Tennessee gave Ole Miss another life with a penalty down there. If I recall correctly, it was
holding.
Third down, right?
Yep, it was holding on Trayvon Flowers.
And it was holding. It was the correct call, but you force an incompletion. I don't even remember the ball going to the guy that Trayvon Flowers was covering either.
It didn't.
So that made it even more frustrating. So to me, that was a sign for things to come when you look back on the game. Just missed opportunities, because you had 2 early opportunities to not allow points on the board, and you force a punt, it's muffed. And then the defense bows its neck, does a great job, and then a holding call gives them another life, and they are able to punch it in. And so you've got 3 – instead of 3 points on the board for Ole Miss, you've got 7 because of that holding penalty. And you look back, and that's a 4-point swing, and you lost by 4. You miss a field goal. And if you make that field goal, it's a 2-point game at the end of the game, and instead of having to try to heave it to the end zone at the end, or having to score a touchdown at the end of the game, you could kick a field goal right there to win it. Your offense got the ball 3 times in the second half with a chance to win the game, and the final time it was – You didn't have enough time to get it to the end zone and needed a miracle. But the other 2 times, really, really poor possessions, penalties, and I wasn't a big fan of the play calls. It seemed to be a little too cautious in my opinion. I don't know if that's something that Hendon was seeing on the field and he was checking Tennessee into something, or not doing something in the running game to make it look better than what it was, or maybe it was just Josh Heupel being a little too conservative. I don't know, but it didn't look right in my eyes. Obviously, I'm not a football expert, but it didn't look right to me. So a little conservative there, in my opinion, when you had a chance to take the lead against a bad defense, and you mixed in some penalties as well. So for me, Swain, it boils down to missed opportunities in that football game, and on the offensive side, just injuries piling up. I mean, that offensive line is just bruised and battered. I mean, you were essentially without 3 starters in that football game for nearly all of the football game, with Kingston Harris being out, with Cooper Mays being out, and with Cade Mays only playing 3 snaps before he went down. And, of course, he goes down and out for the game on a play that didn't even count. Just, of course, that happens to Tennessee. And you were already without your starting tailback, and I thought that was a big reason why the running game struggled and the offensive line struggled to protect Hendon Hooker, is because they are so thin up front. I thought it finally caught up to them.
Yeah, I counted 4 opportunities for Tennessee defense there. And listen, plays, series like this happen, right? You give up a touchdown on the first drive, or you go down and score in the first drive. That happens, and then you settle down, and that's what happened with Tennessee. But coaches will be able to go to the film and point out that, guys, these little small plays, you never know when they're going to come up and be the reasons why you win or lose. But here they are. I mean, you had 2 fourth down opportunities to get the ball. Ole Miss first drive. Valus had the muff punt, and then you had the penalty. 4 opportunities to not give up a touchdown. But Tennessee did a good job of weathering the storm, responding, playing their butts off. And I'm not going to sit here and spend a lot of time on effort, because I think we've spent enough time on that early in the season, because that's an expectation now, okay? So it's October the 18th. We have played, 7 games? Yep. So I'm not going to sit here and spend too much time on effort. But they played hard. They left it on the line. Guts was all over that football field. They gave their all for Tennessee. But I think we are at the point of the season that it's what we should expect, and there's no reason to spend a whole hour on how hard they played. That's what they do now.
I'm with you. And the defense played their tails off. I mean, to come out in the second half, and I know that Matt Corral was still an issue running the football and kept the defense on the field longer than they should have been. But to corral that Ole Miss offense, see what I did there? To only 7 points in the second half, my goodness, what a job by Tim Banks. And I think we need to start spending more time talking about the Tim Banks hire by Josh Heupel and how great Tim Banks is and how much potential he has. We need to transition from spending our time talking about the effort to talking about how good Tim Banks is, because he so far, Swain, in my opinion, has been awesome. To only allow Ole Miss to score 7 points in the second half and give your offense plenty of opportunities to go out and win that football game is a minor miracle, in my opinion, especially when you take into consideration how many plays that defense was on the field in the first half. It was a ridiculous amount. 61 plays Tennessee's defense was on the field in the first half. Ole Miss ran 61 plays in the first half. Tennessee ran 31. Time of possession was 19 minutes and 40 seconds to 10 minutes and 20 seconds, and it was more even in the second half. Tennessee ran more plays, 48-40, and actually had the ball longer, 15-31 to 14-29. Tennessee's offense just could not take advantage of the opportunities that defense was presenting them with.
I'm glad you brought that up, because the reason why this defense was able to hold and play the way they played in the fourth quarter and second half is because they go up against the offense every single day that runs tempo just like Ole Miss. And yesterday on the locker room, Byron Young was our guest, and and we had a conversation about that. Every day of practice, or actually day before yesterday, so their practice on Sunday, they ran 100 plays. So they're used to seeing 100 plays every practice from their offense, essentially. So they were prepared. Other defenses may not be able to withstand that amount of plays in the first half and still have a lot in the tank in the second half, but Tennessee did, because that's what they have prepared for all season long, because they go up against our offense. Now, you mentioned something about the play calling. And there was times in the game when I would lean over and be like, man, I sure like us to get out the pocket a little bit, throw out the pocket a little bit with Hendon, man. Let's roll this pocket because, pass protection was certainly an issue. And there was one play when Javonte Spraggins was out and Jackson Lampley went in. On that next play, you had Antonio Pierce. What did I say? Antonio Pierce? No, it's not Antonio Pierce. It's Marcus Pierce. Antonio Pierce is the former NFL player. But Marcus Pierce, walk on. You had Dane Davis, former walk on, at right tackle. You had Ollie Lane, that hadn't played any up until this year. All in the same time on the offensive line. And Marcus Pierce running the football.
Yeah, if you had that on your bingo card, Swain, I mean, not to cut you off, I apologize, but I think we really need to hammer this point. But in the fourth quarter of that football game, you had Marcus Pierce running the football behind Ollie Lane, Jackson Lampley, and Dane Davis.
Yep.
If you had that on your bingo card before the season, you would have never in a million years imagined that Tennessee would be down a score in the fourth quarter against a top 15 Ole Miss football team with a chance to go win the football game.
Yep.
And that is kind of why I said earlier that I thought the offensive line depth issues and injuries finally caught up to them.
Yeah, it affected play calling, man.
Yep.
Your offensive line always affect play calling. So, because you can design up the perfect play down the football field for Javonte Payton to fake the run with Hendon Hooker like we saw last week against South Carolina, but it don't matter if you don't have time, and you got to have guys in there blocking and protecting to have time. So, poor protection affects play calling, and you lost Cade Mays in the course of a football game, so that affected play calling. So. I understand why play calling was different than what we've seen the last couple of weeks, but that's why. Just crazy, man. Both quarterbacks led their teams in rushing. Hendon had 23 attempts, and Matt Corral had 30 attempts. He had 222 yards. Hendon had 137. And watching that game, I was frustrated not because of the plays we wasn't making here, per se, even though I was a little frustrated about some of those plays. But my overall frustration was that there's literally nothing we can do in the middle of the season for some of the issues that we have. These are recruiting issues. These are getting to the transfer portal, getting to the high schools, getting more bodies in here. The depth showed its ugly head. There was one time on special teams that we counted 5 walk-ons jogging off the football field. And last week we talked about how depth shows up the most in special teams. And for this team, the coaching staff, along with these players, like you just mentioned, to still have a chance to win, to be literally inches away from winning that football game, because I think Cedric Tillman played his heart out. He got injured. He came back. But I expected Cedric Tillman to catch that. And I wonder if the footing was off a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like it was. Which looked awkward.
Which didn't allow him to jump the way he wanted to. But, you jump. That's an easy catch. That throw was perfect from Joe Milton. That's a catch. And I know that Tillman's going to see that on film, and he's probably going to be kicking himself. But we've seen him make acrobatic catches. We've seen him make tough catches. That was an easy catch from Tillman there. But, man, he laid it on the line. He didn't have much left in the tank. But we were inches away from winning the football game after all of that happened against us in the football game. So let's take our first break.
Let me ask you one thing real quick. Did were you okay with the adjustments that were attempted to be made against Matt Corral's ability to run the football? Did that frustrate you at any point? Did you think that Tennessee wasn't making adjustments? Because that has been a voice of concern, something that fans have pointed out, that they feel like there is a lack of adjustment. But I didn't see a lack of adjustment. I saw a lack of plays being made. I saw Tennessee trying to spy Matt Corral, but Ole Miss leak out a lineman, and that lineman get their hands on whichever linebacker was spying, and then said linebacker just could not get off the block and go make a play.
Gotcha. Now, we'll take a break, and I'll hit that on the other side.
We had a couple people mention that.
We had a conversation. Actually, it's funny. We had a conversation about that during the game with the guys I was sitting next to. So, I was kind of talking them through the game and what I'm looking at, what to look for, and the game is played within the game. So, I'll cover that. We'll take our first break of the day. Live here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive, over 150 vehicles in stock, a lifetime warranty on most new and pre-owned vehicles. BeattyChevrolet.com, home of the warranty for life. Be right back.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
Hi there, Swain Event family. Are you in the market to purchase a home and a bit freaked out with the market right now? As someone who's been in your spot before, I'm familiar with what's going through your brain. And as a realtor, I've mastered the ins and outs of the buying process. When you work with me, you'll benefit from my experience, and together we'll work toward making sound, smart decisions for your future. And of course, talk a little Vol Sports along the way. Just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design. JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com. If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to hamptoninn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill, or call 865-693-5400. We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Swain Event and SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Top 100 barbecue restaurant in America, live here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. Beatty will trade for anything. So you have a car, you have a boat, a motorcycle, they will trade for it, or they will just buy it flat out from you. Never pay over MSRP for new vehicles here at Beatty. Ben, before the break, you asked a question about the adjustments that were or were not made against Matt Corral running the football. Now, some of those runs were passing plays that he scrambled and he's just a player making a play. He had a Johnny Manziel type of performance running the football. Now, he didn't do all the running backwards and making guys miss sideline to sideline, but running the football, he had a Johnny Manziel type of performance. And so when you're looking at the game and you see an offense and 3-4 wide receivers, I want you to take your eyes and look, especially if you're at the game. You can see this at the game. But look at the box. What I mean by the box, that is from tackle to tackle on offensive line and about 5 to 7 yards from the line of scrimmage to the defensive side, on the defensive side of football. And look at the number of defenders that are in that box. And that should tell you, okay, do you run it here or do you pass it? Do you have the numbers? Teams want to spread defenses out. And this is what we do. We do the same thing. I mean, Tennessee and Ole Miss do a lot of the same things. So the read is, if there's not a lot of guys in the box, then quarterback, running back, you go get busy. If there's a lot of guys in a box, more than you can block, that means they don't have enough blockers. Defense doesn't have enough blockers to account for a quick screen to the wide receivers. Again, this is what we do. We throw it out quick to Cedric Tillman. We throw it out quick to other receivers because the numbers say that they don't have enough on the perimeter to block. And so I thought we did a good job when it came to that. But in the open field, he's a good player. And the way you fix this mainly is recruiting, to be honest. You want to collapse the pocket. You want to make sure that Matt Corral doesn't have those easy north-south running lanes. You want to force him to go wide so that way Pursuit can take hold. But that's really the only negative, huge negative I see in that football game is how, on defense, is how we were allowing Matt Corral to run the football. He shouldn't have 200-something yards. I think adjustments was made, but he's just a good player, and they put you in a really bad position because of their spacing, because of their philosophy, because of their tempo, and they have the players to execute it. Even though number 0 from Ole Miss had a tough day, dropped 2 touchdown passes, had another drop, had a holding. I mean, he had a rough day.
Their passing offense had a rough day in general.
Yeah, too many drops.
Those guys that you just signaled out.
Yeah, they had a lot of
drops.
They
were a little banged up. They were already without Mingo going into the game because of his broken foot, and then I believe it was Braylon Sanders. He left the game around late in the first half and didn't return. But Matt Corral looked off throwing the football, but boy was he on running the football.
I mean, I didn't think he was off. I thought the receivers dropped at least minimum 5 passes in that football game, two for touchdowns. I thought he was pretty good for the most part.
There were a couple throws that he missed on. I mean, I agree with you. I thought the receivers did not help him far more than he played poorly. But I don't know. I guess because Matt Corral's so good, I guess I unfairly expect perfection on every play. And, I mean, there were 3 or 4 balls where he overthrew it or the ball didn't get there and behind the receiver. There are a couple throws like that I was surprised. I know he's not going to play perfect football, but I wasn't expecting more than 1 or 2 of those type of throws. And there were a couple on top of the drops.
Yeah, no. Their receivers didn't play well, but I am, watching the game, I had to ask myself, okay, is this recruiting or is this coaching? Is this recruiting or is it coaching? Is it recruiting or is it not making adjustments? And, majority of the plays that we did make, I looked at as recruiting needs to be addressed. And that could be in a transfer portal. That can be, high school players. But, you got to get better in some areas for sure. And I think, if you are better, Matt Corral doesn't have 200-something yards. But I thought adjustments was made. But it's a valid question for sure. Okay. So phone lines are open, 865-255-03. Let's get to Glenn. Then we have Coy and Macon. And let's have a conversation. Let's do it, right? We always open the lines, and we have tough conversations. We're going to have one today. It won't be the first, won't be the last. We're used to it. So let's do it. Glenn, good morning. We got Glenn?
Glenn, you there?
You there, Glenn?
Oh, Glenn.
Are you there, guys?
Hey, there you go. Glenn, good morning.
There I am. I forgot I had you on mute, so I apologize. I hope you guys are doing well this Monday morning.
You too.
Man, what an electric atmosphere. Gosh. we were watching, at home, and man, that was just incredible seeing that. I'm glad the SEC Network at least did something right, showing them running out of the tee. I thought that was just an incredible, incredible atmosphere there, and it's just electric all night. Everything's going to be – you guys have nailed everything from a playing standpoint. I think what's exciting, and we've talked about this week in and week out, is just I want to say the calmness of the coaches, but just how this team plays even when someone goes down. Now, look, we don't know the extent of the injuries on Hooker or Cade Mays, and that definitely could be an issue going forward. But I've not seen a team put everything on the line like they did the other night in a very, very long time. They had a lot of things going against them, and they could have mailed it in after all that crap that happened before the final 54 seconds was played, and they didn't. And listen, if Joe Milton, your guy, you got to have to sit that cat down and talk to him about situational football. I mean, I was absolutely flabbergasted that the dude just ran the ball in the last 3 seconds of the game. I don't want to knock him too much. He's a kid. He's a good teammate. Gosh, what are you doing? I mean, that was just frustrating. And I mean, you had to have known that, right? I mean, how do you not know that?
Hey, man.
So look, going into this week is going to be. And I'd love to get your opinion on this, Swain. What do you do this week with let's say Hooker is good. Let's say they say, yes, he can play. Do you rest him, knowing that, Kentucky is still somewhat of a winnable game? Georgia's not. But the rest of it is, do you rest him? Do you get Joe Milton some reps? I don't know. It's kind of thrown into the line no matter who you put out there. But last point, now I'll hang up and let other callers call. I know you got a lot of calls. The SEC officiating has got to improve. The SEC makes so much money. Why not hire some full-time guys who can actually do worth of crap? I mean, I don't want to blame the refs for the loss because Tennessee had plenty of opportunities, but they had a rough night all night long, from spotting the ball, from the safety. They actually had to have a conversation about that. That was an easy call.
Easy call.
That's an easy call to make.
Either it was a safety or intentional grounding, which means it's a safety. I mean, it's easy. It was an easy call to make. And go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead.
Well, no. I'm sorry, Jason. But anyway, guys, look, that fumble thing was. There's no doubt that was a fumble. I don't care what anybody says. And SEC Network really never talked about it. But my gosh, that was clear. If the refs are running, all of them. There have been times where you've seen maybe one ref run, the other. No ref on that field blew that dead. From what I understand, no ref, all of them are running with the play. How in the world do you come back and blow that dead? Because what I think it was a Statue of Liberty play. What would have happened if Matt Corral would have completed a pass? Would they have called it back then? Nope. I don't think they do. But because he fumbled and it was scooped and scored. And I think Lane Kiffin had a hand in that too, talking to that ref on the side. I think he might have had a hand in it. Anyway, gentlemen, have a blessed Monday. Have a great week, and go Vols.
Thank you, Glenn. Let me address your call. That was the worst call I've ever seen from a referee. And I went back and watched it probably 10 times, being that play. And Matt Corral tried to make it seem like that he didn't have the ball. And maybe he was getting ready to throw it deep. That's part of maybe some little trickery. Or he couldn't hear. But I'm sorry, this is football. This is part of playing in the SEC. You can't, just because you can't hear doesn't mean that you are allowed to snap the football and stop. And stop. He was barely contacted for a whole second before the ball came out. Whistle wasn't blown. It wasn't dead. That was a fumble. And it was a scoop and score. And the fact that you got that wrong is what led to what we saw at the end of the game. And we'll get to that here in a little bit. But over the course of that football game, you had bad officiating. I mean, spots. How do you see where the ball is if you are 20 yards away behind the play? How do you see that? How do you see that?
You can't.
How do you miss all these calls? And Glenn hit the nail on the head. SEC is the best conference. There's billions of dollars that's flowing through the SEC. Billions. It's time to fix officiating. Because we all see it. It ain't just Tennessee fans. We all see it. It's atrocious. It's poor. And is officiating not up to standard across the country? Yeah. But when you are the SEC and you are the best, you don't have the same standards as everyone else in the country. You have higher standards, which means your officiating should be better than everybody else's in the country. It's time to hold these referees accountable. It's time to look at officiating and fix these problems. Because if the problems with the officiating doesn't get addressed and they're not fixed, you're going to have another situation, maybe in another stadium, where the fans are going to lose it and throw stuff on the field. It's going to happen again if we get the
you
same.
mean like the South Carolina-Florida game?
Yeah.
A couple years back.
It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. So I'm with you, Glenn. Some poor officiating there, and then, Joe Milton's lack of awareness in that situation. I expect that from a true freshman. I don't expect that from someone that's played as many years as Joe Milton. My jaw hit the ground. I'm still in shock. I don't know how you do that. That was bad.
I mean, Swain, it took me like an hour to an hour and a half after the game to even realize that he ran out of bounds. I was so focused on the fact that he didn't heave it up to the end zone on that final play, and part of it was I was on the field on the opposite side of the end zone, and I didn't really see the end of the play all that well. But I was so caught up on the fact that he didn't throw it to the end zone that it completely slipped my mind that the dude is built like a truck, biggest dude on the field at 6'5", 240, whatever he is, and he ran. Not only did he run, but he ran out of bounds. What in the actual what? You're the biggest dude on the field, and you're running out of bounds on fourth down after you already didn't heave it to the end zone? That's up there for one of the stupidest plays I've ever seen in the history of football.
Yeah, Josh Heupel's going to have this is going to be a tough situation for Josh Heupel because you're a teammate. You looking at that, and not only was it a absent-minded play, but you ran out of bounds. And it's one thing to say, okay, well, I think I could have made it. And you trying to bulldoze guys over, and
right.
I mean you're taking hits from left and right, and you clawing and scratching to get to the end zone. There was none of that. It was a skip to the sidelines and going out of bounds at the end of the game.
After Hendon Hooker just gave his all for Tennessee and may have suffered a serious injury.
Yeah,
I mean, you just watch the guy in front of you give his all for his teammates and go down with a potential serious injury, and you go out there and you skip out of bounds like you just said perfectly, Swain. I mean, it's ridiculous. And his teammates were pissed because, like I said, I was on the field, and Carvin had some words for him.
He was pissed.
And they were walking together, and Carvin was kind of looking at him and had some words for him, and he kind of stormed off to the side. Cedric Tillman was extremely pissed off.
I would be.
And I tell you, Swain, I'd have a hard time starting him this weekend against Alabama.
Yep.
If Hendon can't go, I would have a hard time starting Joe Milton. I mean, it's worse than the JG play for me. At least JG was trying to score.
Yep. I know, man.
That's
tough.
That's how bad it was.
I
wanted to add that the fumble was literally the difference in the game. I know Tennessee had plenty of opportunities. It wasn't all the rest. But when you look back on it, because of the final score, that fumble that did not count for a touchdown was literally the difference in the game. And I understand why the play wasn't reviewed because it was deemed forward progress, and you can't review forward progress. But why was forward progress granted in that situation? There was no forward progress. Forward progress is when the ball carrier is being held up for several moments and nothing's happening. That was not the case. The fumble happened nearly immediately after a little bit of contact, and then the ball was picked up. And as Glenn pointed out, all of the refs took off for the end zone. And I'm sorry, but if all the refs on the field are taking off for the end zone, then there was no pretend whistle blown. There was no forward progress, because if there was forward progress granted, then all four referees would not have taken off for the end zone. Somebody would have stepped in and blown the play dead.
They wasn't paying attention, man. That's what it was. They wasn't paying attention because the ref. I didn't see any bags thrown, because usually when there's a fumble, the ref throws a bag to signal a fumble. He didn't do that. They were caught off guard, just like Matt Corral was caught off guard because of the crowd. So let me get to the phones. Let's get to Coy, who's been waiting patiently. If Coy's still there, let's get him in here.
Coy dropped off, so let's get to Turkey Man, and then we'll hit a top of the hour break real quick.
Sorry about that, Coy. Dang it. That was good to meet Coy this weekend too, by the way. Turkey Man, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Again, thanks, Wayne. I had a ball. My stepson, my son-in-law, Michaela's husband. He says that he's a Texas Longhorn fan, but I think he got his eyes opened big time because he had him a ball.
Good.
I mean, really did. I got excited a time or two. I was giving high fives to everybody. And there was a brother there. He had him and his wife, his two little girls. They was cute they'd be. He had one of them on his shoulder. I turned around, I gave him high fives, and I seen a hand, and I went like that, and I high fived that guy right in the forehead. I thought, he just laughed, and I got excited. Of course, I'm vertically challenged anyhow, but I did. I palmed him right in the forehead, but just all of that was there was just amazing. And I'm not going to get too much in the game today because a lot of people want to, as far as the game itself goes. But I'm going to say this. If somebody comes in your house and starts stealing from you, you will get mad. And that's what I felt like was happening with poor play calling from umpires. The official was awful, brother. And that was a scoop and score. And from what I was seeing, this is how it read, the Corral, or how you say his name, number 2 for Ole Miss, which is good. It looked like a trick play that Lane had called, and he's supposed to act as if he didn't have the ball. It was kind of like a Statue of Liberty, what it looked like to me, and it broke down. And it got muffed. It was scooped and scored. And the other thing is the spots and spotting. I watched last night. I stayed up and watched that game and run back on. We got not only us spots, but they got favorable spots. And all you have to do is go through and look at it. Oh, you've seen it. You know what I'm talking about. And I don't want to take angry today of everything that happened because I had such a awesome time. But I'm just leaving it at this. Somebody goes in my house and starts trying to steal stuff, I'm going to get angry. And a lot of that took place to come about because of that.
Yeah. Now you listen, Turkey Man. Thanks for the phone call. There's a build up, and we still haven't dove into it yet. It's a 3-hour show. Didn't want to start the show with that and that dominate the show, and then let's lose sight of all the other great observations to point out, including the atmosphere and actual game in itself. So we'll get to that for sure. We're going back to the phones. We'll take our top of the hour break here in the Swain Event, live here from Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. Stay with us.
When I made the move to my own studio, I was worried about this. I was worried about that. I was worried about, hey, did I get this piece of equipment? Did I get that piece of equipment? Does that sound good? Does that not sound good? One thing I didn't have to worry about, that was office furniture, because Office Furniture Outfitters met my furniture needs. With a 50,000 square foot facility, they have East Tennessee's largest selection and are the best value for new and used office furniture. Located in Knoxville, it's easy to find everything you need for your new space, including desks, file cabinets, chairs, conference tables, and more. Office Furniture Outfitters is turnkey. They came to my place, we mapped everything out that was needed, they delivered, and get this, set everything up. To learn more about what Office Furniture Outfitters can do for you, log on to ofonox.com. That's ofonox.com.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Several of you, like Ben McKee, have reached out to me for real estate assistance this year, and I want to say thank you. I appreciate your trust in me to ask questions and help you navigate the real estate world.
That's right, Jennifer. Buying a home is a scary process, especially for a first-time home buyer. Jennifer recently helped my wife and I buy our first home and made the entire process seamless. Her willingness to go above and beyond is what sets her apart.
As always, feel free to give me a call. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Let's get to the phones. Let's get back to the phones. Live here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. Over 150 vehicles in stock to choose from, used and new. Parkside Drive, Beatty Chevrolet, where they will buy your vehicle, will trade for anything, motorcycle, boat, car, truck. BeattyChevrolet.com. All right, let's get to the phones. The Iris Networks hotline, 90 days, no payment for business internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com. And looks like we have Dustin. Dustin, good morning.
Good morning, Swan. I appreciate you letting me call, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling.
Hey, man, I got a vent for just a minute.
Go for it.
So many this morning, but, man, look, how much does that conference make every year, dollar-wise?
Billions.
And we can't figure out a way to put a camera on the chain for the first down marker. I mean, you got a pylon cam. Can you not put a camera on them chains? I mean, it's, the other night I was at the house watching a ball game. I can't afford to go to every ball game up. I try to get up there, once or twice a year. But I was watching them boys lay their hearts out on that field. And I understand why, the fans were throwing the things. I mean, I don't agree with it. But I'm like the last caller, buddy. We got robbed. And I understand we had plenty of opportunities to win a ball game. But when you make so much in a dollar amount in a conference that, I mean, we live in the South. Football is king down here. And when you make so much money, you got to make the game almost as flawless of man's mistake, referees, coaches, whatever. These coaches get paid millions of dollars. You need to take steps and precautions to make sure that these refs aren't the final say. I mean, I know they have a job to do, but we've seen it too many times where it's a piss poor job is what they do.
Pretty much. Yep.
And I hope that the conference will take that. And that aside, I love Tennessee. I'm 30 years old. I remember watching you play. I've lived in this state my whole life, and I'm orange through and through. But after the other night, I sat there and I thought to myself, when is the conference going to make a change to make sure that the game is a true game? I mean, because we got robbed. And then my last statement, and I'll get off here, man. I've been hot all weekend about this. I read an article a couple of weeks ago, and Danny White was talking about how important to the fans is it, that we keep the stadium, at as much capacity as possible. And a Saturday night didn't show him how much that stadium should stay over 100,000 people. Then I don't know what the man needs, because that place needs to be like that, for the rest of its eternity. We love our football. You put a product on the field and it ain't even got to be a winning product. A lot of times you just get some kids out there with heart, and those people in orange and white, they'll show up. So I hope he takes into some consideration that place needs to stay over 100,000 seats. And I appreciate you this morning.
Hey, thank you, man. Thanks for the phone call. Really appreciate your thoughtfulness and calling in. Let's keep it going. Let's bring in Rusty. Rusty.
What up?
What's up, Rusty? Good morning, man.
Good morning. I'm going to try to be cool and civil and not act a fool. But it's atrocious, as you said already.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sense in it. The league has to get rid of part-time officials. They got to start hiring guys that do the job full-time, and that's all they do. They live it and breathe it. They know every possible scenario of every possible rule and how to manage things, because that's the issue. When you do it part-time, you can't think of every outcome and know everything before it happens and every possibility. That's the issue. That's what happened. They got confused on – they didn't even know what that play was. Our defenders didn't get fooled by what Ole Miss did. The referees did.
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't know every possible thing that could happen on a football field.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not working up full, anyway. However, I just want to say that play ended up actually giving us 2 points that we wouldn't have had in the ball game, because we got the ball, we had to punt back to them, and we pinned them deep, and we got the safety because of it. And then they had to do the safety. They had to do the safety kickoff from their 20. We got 7 right immediately after that. So we ended up with 9 points instead of 7 that we would have had if they would have gave us the stupid score. But it's still piss poor officiating to not know what happened. That's the thing. So I'm not even saying that cost us the ball game, but it caused our fans to become more irate.
Mm-hmm.
That's point number one by that. The other is on the refereeing situation. Of course, you can't expect an official to keep up with a pass being thrown 24 yards downfield and be on the line of the spot. So do you have more officials and one official's responsibility is just to stay at the chains all the time where the first down line, yellow line on TV is? Do you have one official that just always has to stay there wherever that's at? Maybe you add that official. I don't know if that's the right move. Secondly, on that, they do need more cameras. I know the NFL's got more money, but there would have been a superimposed high-definition still frame shot of the moment where his knee touched the ground and exactly where the ball is on the line, and you could have it would have been it would have been so clear with NFL cameras, and we got just as much money, I'm thinking, because we're not paying our players. Well, theoretically. So let's move on past that. Our defense held them to 31 points, and 7 of those came off a really, really short field because of a muff punt. Can't say enough about how wonderful our defense was. God bless them. They're playing above their heads, I believe.
They are.
I do think the only real way Ole Miss hurt us, and it's pretty obvious, was on 3rd and longs, they found a way for Matt Corral to always escape. And a lot of it was They kept showing pass, and then they had the center wasn't pass blocking. He was immediately going and targeting whoever the spy on Corral was and taking him out of the play so Corral could run. Basically, a quarterback draw is what it really was.
It was quarterback. It was a quarterback draw. He was a lead blocker.
I haven't played defense since I was like 7 years old. I moved away from that side of the ball at a very young age, so I don't know defense like most people, or like a lot of people that really played the game and know the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't speak on it. But I thought after it happened numerous times, could we have, and I'm not complaining about the defense again, they were over their heads, and the coaching staff's doing a brilliant job.
Mm-hmm.
But could we have not stunted or done something to have one of our blockers on the snap on those third and long situations stunt and get their body on the center's body so he couldn't have released downfield and taken the spy away?
Yeah, that's a question that I would love to be asked about. You know, I know Rodney Garner wants those guys to get vertical, but how vertical and how far afield do you want to get before you run yourself out the play? And a quarterback like Matt Corral can just get upfield on you and run those quarterback draws. Do you pinch? Do you slant? Do you run some twists? Do you have a spy? I mean, what's the game plan against a guy like Matt Corral? And you got to give some credit to him. I mean, he's a good player, but 220-something yards from the quarterback position, you know, he's no Lamar Jackson or anything. So I think those are questions that will be asked this week. I don't have them on top of my head, to be honest. I would have to consult with someone that's played the position on defensive line or defense to know what we could have done a whole lot better. But a lot of his runs were not design runs. A lot of those runs were from the passing play where we had good coverage down the football field and he took off running. And you always worry about a quarterback pretending like he's going to run, and then the defense gets sucked up and he throws it over your head. You want to make sure he crosses the line of scrimmage, and Matt Corral was really savvy with the pump fake, and he did a really good job. He really did. But at the same time, I'm sure there's things on film that Tim Banks and Brian John Marie and Rodney Garner, Will Martinez will look at and say, hey, guys, we got to clean this up. We're not going to play against another quarterback like a Matt Corral, but we can't allow a quarterback to run for 100 yards, moving forward. Now, Bryce Young is a guy that could run for 100 yards. Levis there, Kentucky, he is mobile. So, I mean, you don't want to allow quarterbacks moving forward to feel like they can run and expose Tennessee the way that Matt Corral did. So we'll get those answers more defined answers for you there, Rusty, about things that realistically you could do. Like we can talk about, you can put these guys here and these guys here, but then you leave yourself open to quick screens and passes to the outside. So it's a numbers game. It's 11. There's only 11. So it's not 6 and 6 where you can even – there's going to be a weakness somewhere. You're going to be outmatched somewhere. Either you're going to have enough in the box to stop the run, or you're not going to have enough on the outside to stop the pass. And that's the situation that Tennessee offense wants to put every defense in. And that's what Ole Miss does. A lot of credit was going to Lane Kiffin for, play calls. Some people didn't even know he don't even call plays. Man, that's Jeff Lebby. So you give credit to Jeff Lebby. He did a great job. He's going to be a head coach real soon from the way he's calling plays. All right, let's get to Corentinval. Corentinval, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. What's up?
What's up, Corentinval, man? Good to hear from you.
Sun shining, birds still chirping.
Yeah.
Still a good day to be alive.
Still a great day.
First, I really want to get at good vibes, thoughts, and prayers to Hooker. I mean, I hope he's doing all right. He looks like he's in an awful lot of pain. I didn't get to see where the play that Cade got hurt, but I know that there were a lot of people talking about it on the board and things like that. I hope those guys are on the mend. I hope that everything's going to be all right. But, at the end of the day, man, this is just a great game that we get to watch and get to be a part of. I really wish that I could have made it there for that atmosphere, man. I was watching it on TV, and it was like I was hypnotized, man. It made me flashback to some good memories, and it was just really, really cool, man. It was good to see that atmosphere, and I don't necessarily condone the way everybody, well, I don't want to say everybody, but those select few that acted out the way they did. And I understand where they're coming from, but I don't agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's their prerogative. If they want to act like that, that's fine, because then they'll have to suffer the consequence somehow, one way or another, but that's okay. I just want to say that it makes me so proud to still wear the orange and white, because these boys, no matter what anybody wants to say, I don't care what the Negavols want to start bickering and harping about, the play calling was terrible. Well, you call what you can call due to the personnel that you have on the field and who you have available to you. And these boys are playing their hearts out. These young men are trying their best to give their all for this team and this fan base, because they really want to be successful. These young men are really determined, and I can see that. They were playing as hard as they could play given the circumstance. I mean, you're shorthanded on every squad. All three phases are shorthanded.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's hurt. Everybody, and this is halfway through the year. And you know at a much different level than I do, and I can't even remember just in high school how tough it was halfway through the year. You're like, dang, man, I'm hurting in places I didn't even know I had.
Beat up.
I can only imagine on the next level.
Yep.
Because you got bigger, faster, stronger athletes.
Yep.
But, man, I'm proud of these guys. They play with so much heart, and it breaks my heart to see these boys play that hard and then just get their souls ripped out by people that are just, I'll just leave that one alone. I'm not even going to say it on the radio.
Part-time workers.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
but I appreciate you guys, and hey, Ben, go Steelers.
That's right, go Steelers.
Steelers got it done last night. Let's get to Middle Tennessee Rick, and then BF Vol. Rick, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Hey, that was an awesome game to watch. I hated the outcome. Hated what happened at the end of the game too. There's really no excuse for that. I mean, I was as frustrated as anybody, but you just can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But this team, like you've got a lot of callers have already hit on it, and you guys have hit on it. These guys are playing. They're playing to the last whistle. We're playing with a team that is very lacking in depth, and you're having injuries every game, and we're still in it to win it at the last 3 seconds of the game. Hey, that says a lot for the whole organization, from coaches down to the players that don't even get to play.
Mm-hmm.
That things are going in the right direction. I hated the way that game ended, and we know Milton should have threw the ball to the end zone, but he didn't do it, and nothing we could do about that. Almost had it, I think, on the previous pass that he threw. We just barely missed it, a little bit high, but he couldn't have thrown it, I don't think, any lower. And a big shout out to the defense. And when you can hold Ole Miss to one touchdown in the second half, I think that's a great accomplishment. I know we couldn't stop Corral, and it's like the previous caller said, when or the caller before, the center came out, he got on our back, whoever was back there, linebacker, and we just couldn't seem to get off of it. Didn't have an answer for it. But other than that, I think it was an awesome game, awesome atmosphere, and I still think we're going in the right direction. People getting hurt from this point forward is really going to be an issue, and I hope and pray for Hooker and anybody else that got hurt, Cade, that they're not hurt too bad. But Hooker didn't look good coming off.
No, he didn't, Tennessee Rick, man. Thanks for the phone call. I mean, the fear is that, we lose Hooker for the year. That's the fear. I think it's a foregone conclusion that he's not going to play in this football game coming up against Alabama. But that's the fear, is that, that he's out for the season, and we won't know anything until, a little bit later on, either in the day or the week. So don't know right now. Don't know right now about the status of Hendon Hooker, but certainly hope that it's not serious. Let's go back to the phones, and then Ben, we'll discuss the ending of this football game and get into it. I know that the national media has taking their shots at Tennessee and at this fan base and the scenes and actions of a few there on Saturday. Also, Greg Sankey is giving some statements. He was on The Nation last night with Chris Lowe and Austin Price. Yesterday with Chris Lowe and Austin Price. And so we'll get to it. I didn't want to start the show with that because I didn't want the whole show to be dominated by that and lose sight on other parts of the game that need to be recognized. But we'll get into it after our phone call here with B.F. Vol. B.F. Vol, good morning.
Good morning, Jason Swain. Good morning, Ben. It's a pleasure to talk to you guys again. This is my second call.
Thank
you. But I wanted to say that, first of all, it was a great game. It is so good to hear Monday where fans are not complaining about the coaches or or complaining about how bad the team is. So it's awesome to have that experience. But I want to say this about Joe Milton. Joe Milton is soft. He runs from contact. He does not want to get hit. And you're right. He's 6'5". He's one of the biggest guys on the field. He should be running people over. He doesn't want to get hit. And that's the bottom line to that. So I don't know what you can do about that. Any player that I've seen in football that don't want to get hit, they don't last long playing the game. And also, I'm also curious about recruiting. What was the reaction by the recruits from Saturday's atmosphere? And I'm out.
Hey, thank you, BF Vol. I know the recruits were on the Vol walk. I saw several recruits talk about the atmosphere and how great a time that they had. Ben, I know you probably have more details in that area. But that game right there, even though you came up short, that's a game that you can use to recruit because you're showing guys how close you are while playing 3, 4, 5 walk-ons on the unit at the same time. You're playing guys that really have no business playing in this type of football game in the SEC. And that's no slight to those guys. It is what it is. It's the truth. And I'm going to be nice as I can, but it's the truth. People need to understand because I'm not going to let these coaches get crushed when they're basically have one hand tied behind their back. So these recruits, I'm sure, saw themselves being a help, being close enough that I could be the one that gets Tennessee over the hump. Now, if it's so bad that it don't matter if I come or the whole list of 5 stars and still not going to be good, that's a tough sell. But I think Saturday should be a pretty good sell for this coaching staff, Ben. Any more information that's more specific than what I just shared about the response of the recruits?
All positive feedback from the recruits that I have spoken to.
Who else did you talk to, by the way?
I have spoken to Caleb Webb, a wide receiver from Georgia, who is currently committed to ECU, but I think is going to blow up. He's having a great senior season at McEachern High School there.
Oh, the A.
In Powder Springs, Georgia.
Oh, he's from the A.
Right?
McEachern, they got some ballers over there.
Yes, and he has been having a big senior year. I'm a big fan of his game from the tape that I've seen. We'll have to get you to check it out and see what you think.
Okay.
But and even since he's been committed to ECU in June, he's kind of blown up a little bit. He told me that it's between Louisville and South Carolina and Tennessee, Kentucky's kind of flirting with him. So he's starting to gain some attention from some Power 5 schools, and I think Tennessee's in a real good spot there. He was at the South Carolina game, wanted to come back for the Ole Miss game because of the atmosphere, so he's been here back-to-back weekends, and he raved about the atmosphere, and that was the consensus from current recruits in the current cycle, from 2023 kids, 2024 kids. They all raved about the atmosphere and how awesome it was, and I asked them about the end of the game situation, and the consensus was that it was more of a reflection on the passion of the fans and their frustrations with some calls that did not go their ways, and that they understood that it was just a couple of people, and that it didn't leave a thought in their head, that they looked at it as Tennessee fans just wanting to win and being passionate. And one kid told me that he understood why fans were upset because he didn't feel like the refs were calling a fair game. So there has not been a negative reaction to the end of the game, what took place at the end of the game from the recruits. It's been all talk about how awesome of an atmosphere it was, and just continued conversations about how much they love this coaching staff.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's get to our guy TC in Athens, the real MVP of the weekend. TC, good morning, man. Good to see you.
Hey, buddy. Hey, man, great to see you. And good morning, guys. Hey, more than anything right now, first thing I want to do is just say how proud I am of our coaching staff and the players that left it all out on the field, man. We've seen players in the past under other coaching staffs who in a game like that, or a game, they probably would have gotten blown out, for one. It wouldn't have come down to the final play. Secondly, we've seen players over there dancing on the sideline, laughing it up, all that kind of stuff in the past.
Yep.
We've seen players after those games get on Twitter or Instagram or whatever and basically call out fans for whatever reason and basically, say, just junk to the fans. I saw player after player yesterday tweeting that, how much they appreciated our fans this past Saturday, that we had their back, So it's just, he is really changing the culture, the mindset, and I want to give a huge shout-out to Coach Heupel, his staff, and these players.
For sure.
Secondly, I want to thank all the people, the listeners to your show, Swain, and all those on Vol Twitter that we had the opportunity to interact this weekend. Spencer and I, and his daughter, beautiful daughter Peyton, and my daughter Cassidy, we spent the day together Saturday and introduced him to just tons and tons of people that we've interacted with for years on Twitter, and the callers of your show, and just the love and respect that was so well deserved that he received on Saturday. I'm telling you, man, it was incredible, Swain. It was absolutely awesome. Person after person that I'd say, hey, do you want to meet the creator of Checker Nealon? And their eyes would just light up. Absolutely, I do. And then they'll just stand there really in reverence and say thank you. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life.
That's awesome.
And just want to thank this fan base. I could get into how bad I think we got screwed by some calls and all that stuff, but I'm just trying to take away how special this weekend really was for a lot of people. Michael Stribling, who's a listener of your show, brought his kid to his first game, and a lot of people did, and it was just a really special weekend. I want to thank you for everything that you do, man, for this fan base and for these listeners, and love you guys. I'm out.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Tim McLeod and Spencer Barnett, man, they deserved it. I went to the game, so I didn't get a chance to hear the broadcast, but I did go back and watch the game, and I saw where Cole Kublick did the piece on Checker Nealon and Spencer Barnett, and man, just huge thank you to Cole Kublick, because him and I talked on Friday, and we were in the car, and my kids was looking at me because, we was on the phone, and we were on our way to do a little shopping for our oldest, and they were looking at me like, come on, Daddy, who you on the phone with? This must be important. And I was talking to Cole, and I shared with him how special Checker Nealon was to fans, and told him a story about Spencer Barnett, and just planted that seed there. And, man, Cole took it and ran with it, did a great job. They pulled up the different photos of checking Nealon from previous years, did a good job of setting up the story. And they had the camera right there on Spencer and TC over there, and it was great. It was great. So I'm just glad that Spencer was able to get that recognition. And I talked a little bit to Spencer yesterday, and he just said that everybody was so proud. Like his mom saw the game, and she was in tears because she was just so proud of Spencer. Getting that recognition, doing something so special that brings so much happiness to so many people, and you gotta give credit to the fans too, because they participated. They bought into it. They had maybe something they wanted to wear Saturday, but they changed it just to make sure that Check and Nealon was going to be successful and beautiful, and it was. But I'm with you, TC. There's so much bad wrapped into this game, right? But there's also so much good wrapped into this game. There's so much good, and I just want to make sure that we spend the right amount of time highlighting each part, because each part will get a conversation today and deserves a conversation. So we're halfway through the show. We'll get back to the phones, and then we'll go to a break, and then we'll come back, and we'll talk about the scene at the end of the game. Let's get to David. David, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Swain. How are you today?
I'm great, man. How are you, David?
Great. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Just wanted to say I was at the game. Drove all the way back yesterday, so I had a lot of time to think about it. I'm in Germantown, Tennessee, but got a son that goes there. But my call is really for Danny White, to be quite honest with you. Okay. And I want to start with kudos to him for the checker Nealon and endearing himself to the fans. But this is going to go to him because at the end of the day, you know this as well as the rest of the listeners, there's the haves and the have-nots of the SEC. Okay, it's apparent every week this conference has got tremendous amounts of money. Ranked teams get treated better than non-ranked teams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Instagram feed, the SEC network, before the game, it's all about Lane Kiffin. It's not about Tennessee. It's all about Lane Kiffin returning to Knoxville. It's all about Lane Kiffin this. After the game, it's all about what happened to Lane and this, that, and the other. And I just I asked Danny, for the fans, you want to endear yourself to this fan base? You challenge the SEC about what happened Saturday night, okay? Because that's the issue at hand. Look, I know there's bad reffing all across the league, but that game was taken from us. I think you know that. Most of the fans know that. The national media is never going to say that because there's a narrative that's just never going to happen, okay? But so it's going to take local media, a man like yourself, to go on the Feinbaum show, say something. But that's what needs to be said. No, it's not going to change what happened Saturday night, but going forward, for us to bounce back off the mat, which this team is trying to do, this coaching staff is trying to do. It's as a 48-year-old man to have grown up watching Tennessee my entire life, went to the university, have, as I said, son there now. It's just Saturday night was glorious. It was a lot of fun to be at, an incredible environment, but it was taken from us, and that's just the way I feel as a fan. Like I said, I've got a son that was there in the student section, and obviously that was mostly students that acted the way they did, and let's not say that that's never happened before at another SEC venue. Back in the 60s and 70s, how many times did Tennessee travel on the road and get oranges pelted at players when they walked onto the field and stuff like that? Frozen ones down at LSU. But to me, that's the conversation that needs to be had with Danny White. Hey, endear yourself to the fans even more so, because what I want to say to him is he's trying, and as an alumni, I appreciate it. But something needs to be said. Now, whether it's said behind closed doors, if he's doing that, that's fine. But it needs to be – the fan base needs to know that he's sticking up, for the fan base. They want the fan base to fill up the stadium. They want the fan base to spend thousands of dollars coming to games and stuff like that. Well, at the end of the day, have our backs also. Have the team's backs. That's the way I feel about this whole situation.
All right. I appreciate the phone call, David. Yeah. Danny White, I'm sure we'll be having several conversations with the SEC and Greg Sankey, and I'm sure Chancellor Plowman will be having conversations as well. They put out statements. We'll talk about that in detail when we come back from break. Live here from Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. Never pay over MSR for new vehicles. Also, lifetime warranty on most new and pre-owned vehicles at Beatty Chevrolet. BeattyChevrolet.com. Stay with us. Be right back.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain Event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work-from-anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at nobodytrashestennessee.com.
Hey there, Swain Event listeners. I'm excited to share my new Keller Williams Realty app so you can tour homes without leaving yours. Not only can you search for homes in specific areas and neighborhoods, you can also have access to real-time market snapshots on stats like average home price and days on market, plus commute times from your office, school zones, and much more. Download my app today and get the most accurate information on buying, selling, and investing in real estate in your area. Just search for the Keller Williams Realty app and click on More in the lower right-hand corner. Type in Jennifer Morris in the Your Agent search bar, then save and you're set. And as always, feel free to reach out at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
After a spot was deemed short for the first down on the last drive of the game for Tennessee, fans threw things on the field. I'm just going to be transparent here with you guys, no different than I normally am. So I was there at the game. 4 minutes ago in the game, my heart told me to get up and leave. The reason why I got up and left, because I was disgusted. I was disgusted at what I was watching. What I was watching was not football. What I was watching was garbage. I was watching players, play after play, fake hurt, go down, pretend like they had cramps. I've had cramps. I know what the calf muscle looks like when you cramped. They were not hurt. I watched it play after play after play. I got tired of seeing it. I didn't want to watch it anymore. I didn't want to watch it on either side. Before the game, I saw a video from Lane Kiffin telling the player to get out on the sideline. Ole Miss did a lot of it. We did it too. Coach Heupel did with Javonte Spraggins. I'm not one that's going to sit here and point the finger at the other side without acknowledging that we did some of it too. Mainly it was Ole Miss. And I was sick of watching it, but from both sides. Sick of watching it. Disgusted. So I just walked out. And I pulled the game up on my phone. Finally had some service once I left the stadium. So I pulled the game up on my phone to listen, and I was still hearing the call and the speakers. I was walking to my car, and still had it pulled up. And I don't live too far away from campus. So I get home, and there's a delay. I'm like, what happened? What happened? Turn on television, I see all the stuff on the field. All the trash and things being thrown down. And, my immediate reaction was disappointment. It really was. There's really not an excuse. Let's have a serious conversation. There's not an excuse here for that. And there's a reason. There's a reason why I got to this point. There's a reason why I got to this point. Now, in the game of football, Ben, football is the sport probably that draws the most comparisons and the most parallels to the military. You grew up military family. I grew up military family. There's more parallels, game of football, to the military. But we understand that it's nowhere close, right? It's nowhere close. Military is serious, it's life and death. We're talking about a game of football. But there's been parallels about teamwork, sacrifice, fighting for the greater good, playing for the greater good. But we understand that one is a game and one is life or death. We understand that. And I say that to bring up another parallel, which is one is life and death, and the other one is just a game. We have seen our fair share of citizens in our country and outside of our country reach boiling points. And they've acted out. And we would call them riots. We would call these riots inside of our country, outside of our country. And riots are caused because people are unheard. Riots are the actions of the unheard. And what you saw on Saturday was a fan base that for 60 minutes saw some of the worst officiating they've ever seen, up close and personal. They saw an easy touchdown be taken off a board with no true explanation. They saw countless number of poor spots. They saw countless players falling down, acting like they were hurt. And there's a big responsibility for the rules committee in the offseason to fix the fake injuries. And unfortunately, it's going to ruin it for guys who are really hurt. They really get their bell rung. They really get the breath knocked out of them. And all they need is a play to go back in because they're really hurt. But what's going to happen, and what probably needs to happen, is there needs to be a certain amount of time you got to sit out if you hurt now. And you hate that because there are rules that are created in life that are put in place because of someone or multiple people abusing a privilege, abusing a loophole. And unfortunately, that's what's happening. And it's a bad product. It's like the NBA basketball dealing with shooters pump faking and jumping into defenders. It became a bad product. Ben hates it to the core. He hates it. I understand why, but it's a bad product. You got to get it out of the game. Well, this is another example of something that needs to be written out of the game. So this is what we can do. But this is what we can do, though. We can recognize that what happened Saturday isn't right with things being thrown on the football field. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. It was wrong. Period. There's not a comma. There's not a but. There's not a attempt at deflecting and posting a video of basketball years ago with Ole Miss. Because it, to me, has nothing to do with Saturday. What happened was wrong. There's no excuse. It was wrong. So if you're Danny White, and I'm glad that David called in and said what he said. David said, here's Danny White's chance to challenge the SEC, whether it's behind closed doors or whatever. Just here's a chance to fight for Tennessee, fight for the fans. But just like when we have these riots, and again, I understand the magnitude. It's just a parallel. One's life and death and one's not. But when you have something just dramatic like this take place, it starts a conversation, at least it should, about change, about things that should be looked at. Because there's something obviously wrong, and that's officiating. You can't hide behind it. You can't put out a statement about the actions of Tennessee fans and totally ignore, not say anything about why they were pushed to that point and the officiating. You have to address it if you are the SEC. And that's why they got to that point. Guys, let's be consistent. Let's not be hypocrites. Let's not be hypocrites. We wouldn't tell our kids that was cool. We wouldn't excuse that if our kids asked us about that. We would tell them that's not good. So if we're going to do that, let's be consistent. Let's be accountable. It was wrong. It was wrong. It was. Ain't no excuse for it. It was wrong. It was wrong. But let's have a conversation now, SEC. We was wrong. We'll own it. Are you ready to own the issue that we've been ignoring for years and years and years? We'll be the poster child. We're wrong. And we had our own cheerleaders ducking for cover. You don't want to see that. I'm downplaying the severity of what happened. I'm not going to act like, it was a massacre either. But it was wrong. But now, SEC, let's take this moment. And let's make some changes. Let's make some real changes. Don't just hide behind Tennessee fans doing what they did. And the national media will make it all about Tennessee fans. They'll take the photos of the trash or whatever. But one is going to continue this Saturday, next Saturday, the Saturday after that, until the season is over. I don't think Tennessee fans will be doing this in the next home game. What's the next home game, Ben? Who we play next home game?
Georgia.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see that against Georgia. Who's after Georgia, Ben?
South Alabama.
South Alabama. I don't think people are gonna be doing that in South Alabama. What about South Alabama?
Vanderbilt.
I don't think we're gonna see it. I don't think we're gonna see that. This is a once in a while deal. But will we see bad officiating this Saturday? You damn right we will. We're gonna see it this Saturday, next Saturday, the Saturday after that, until we get to the off season, and they decide to really, really fix this problem. Two things can be true at the same time. Officiating bad, very bad, needs to be addressed. And, not or, but and, we can't do that. Like, we can't do that. That's not a good look. But I understand. I understand the frustration. I get it. That was actions of the unheard. For 60 minutes, we sat there and watched poor officiating. For 60 minutes, we saw the integrity of football, the integrity of the game be compromised with fake injuries. I couldn't even watch it. I had to leave. It was pissing me off that much. Fake injuries. Fake it. It's and, not or. And don't let the national media get you riled up. You know how they roll. They won't highlight both. They'll highlight one. And the statements from Chancellor Plowman, which is, she put out at 1:10 on Sunday morning, saying that she was astonished and sickened by the behavior of some of all fans at the end of tonight's game. Good sportsmanship must be a part of who we are as volunteers. Behavior that puts student athletes, visitors, and other fans at risk is not something we will tolerate. What's the problem with that statement? Why are we having a problem with Chancellor Plowman giving a statement when something like that happens? We shouldn't have a problem with that. That's what a leader does. It was unacceptable. We can't make excuses for that. We can't deflect. We just own it. We own it and say, yeah, we messed up. But this is the reason why we did. And now let's go fix it. Let's go fix it. Danny White's statement. Our Tennessee fan base had much to be proud of through 59 minutes of football Saturday night. They created one of the best live sporting events atmospheres I've ever experienced, but what transpired in the game's final minutes was unacceptable. Player and fan safety is paramount at all times. While I'm incredibly proud of our team's effort on the football field, I'm disappointed that their relentless performance was overshadowed in the game's closing moments by the actions of several fans whose actions did not represent the volunteer spirit or the true character of our university. On behalf of the University of Tennessee, I'd like to apologize to the Ole Miss football program, congratulate their student athletes on a hard-fought win. And Danny said he spoke with Keith Carter after the game and expresses that same sentiment to him. So, listen, that's what they're supposed to say publicly, right? They're leaders. I think this is what you're supposed to do. I don't know why anyone would have a problem with leadership making a statement condoning what happened. But here's a chance if you are Danny White. Here's a chance if you are Chancellor Plowman, like our phone call David suggested, is, SEC, what are we doing about these officiating? Because there's a lot of hours put in by these student athletes. There's a lot of hours put in by these coaches. Everyone's full-time. Everyone's full-time except the referees. There is no, if this don't work out, I can go do my other deal. No, for these student athletes, it's this. This is it for them. Coaches, this is it for them. they don't do well, they get fired. They try to feed their families. Administrators, this is it for them. This is their only job. Referees, man, these referees got other businesses. They don't work out. Oh well, go back to whatever, doing my deal. And not enough skin in the game for the referees. Everybody else has all the skin in the game except referees. Everybody, except for the refs. These kids put in too much time, too much effort, put their bodies on the line to have calls blown the way they've been blown over the last couple of years. This ain't just about Saturday. This is about years of ignoring the problem. We've ignored the problem. We've ignored poor officiating for years because it hasn't hit us enough. It hasn't hurt enough. You ignore it. Oh, it's just a little crack in the windshield. It's all right. You ignore the little small crack. Driving behind a truck, little rock come up, boop. It's a little small crack. You ignore it until you can't see. Until you can't see. Until it becomes a huge problem. Well, here we are, SEC. Here we are, NCAA. Did it take for a group of fans to throw stuff on the field to get your attention? If so, then, hey, here we are. We're accountable. Not making excuses. Can't have it in college football. We get it. We understand. Cool. We'll take a slap on the wrist, whatever. But are you ready to make some changes too? I'm more disgusted in the fake injuries and the officiating, honestly, than the scene at the end of the game. But I'm also not making excuses either and trying to deflect and trying to pull up things that other people do another time. That's not taking accountability. That's not taking accountability. We want other people to do things that we're not willing to do. Let's be the change that we want to see in other people. Let's be accountable. Yeah, we did it. We did it. It was wrong. Yep. Yeah, it was. That's my stance. That's my stance. That's my experience on Saturday. This is one thing I will say. Our fans care. I was more afraid of the apathy leading up to this season, Ben, than I am about the punishment that the SEC may or may not give, even though there's no rule in the rule book about what happened on Saturday. There is a rule about storming the field. There's a fine. So if they fine Tennessee, it would be just making it up, I guess. But, like, I'm more bothered by the fake injuries. I'm more bothered about the officiating because that's not going to stop. That's going to continue this week. This Saturday, you will see poor officiating. You will see fake injuries. It's not stopping. It's not stopping.
I'm with you. The injuries and the fake injuries and the poor calls routinely are far more frustrating than an isolated incident on Saturday night. Should the incident have happened? No. If you were throwing stuff onto the field, then quite frankly, I feel like you deserve to be punished for it because that's a poor showing of sportsmanship. And I get the frustration, but you can't be throwing things onto the field. And as harmless as a beer can or a water bottle may seem, those things hurt when they're full and you get pelted with it. I watched a police officer get hit by a full tall boy of beer in the knee, and I mean he was an older gentleman, and it brought him to his knees, and he was limping for the remainder of the game. Like, those things hurt. It's dangerous. Somebody can get hit in the head and could get a concussion from it. I mean, that's serious. So,
yeah, and
it's uncalled for.
We back to blue. Do we back to blue then? Like we back to blue in every other situation, right? We appreciate our law enforcement. We back to blue then, but do we not feel some type of remorse and say, dang man, we just hit a dang police officer,
right?
Like come on. So
you're hitting cheerleaders, you're hitting band members. So I strongly condemn what took place. I mean, that's uncalled for. But it was also a select few that ruined it for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of it came from a drunk student section. Not all of it, but the majority of it. And it became a game because when I saw the police officer get hit in the knee with a full can of beer, the entire student section started cheering because somebody had gotten hit. And it became a thing to where, okay, let's see if we can hit somebody. It became a game to try and get the student section cheering because they hit somebody. So the other incidents that are brought up, Swain, are a result of not excusing Tennessee's behavior, but in an effort to show the national media members that you all are making us seem like the worst people on the face of the planet, yet here's several other instances of it happening elsewhere, yet there's no column after column after column written about it. And I completely understand and agree with and right there with the feelings towards the national media members because they took it way too far. Saturday night was embarrassing. That should never take place in Neyland Stadium. But for the national media members to act as if Tennessee fans are the worst people on the planet when it was a select few with the majority of the incidents coming from the student section is ridiculous and way over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And
mm-hmm.
Ole Miss
I'm with you.
Players, I feel for them that they were having stuff thrown at them. It's disrespectful. I'm never a fan of that. But Ole Miss also wanted to go down to the north end zone and dance in the face of Tennessee fans, flip the bird back at Tennessee fans, ignite the flame. Ole Miss wasn't acting all that mature either, in my opinion. And I loved seeing VFL Corey Miller try to stop it. I know he wasn't a fan of what was taking place on either side. He was the main guy in the end zone trying to get Ole Miss players to stop. And I guarantee you that deep down Corey Miller was doing it for a specific reason, and that's because he's got blood, sweat, and tears on that football field.
That's right, 100%.
So, again, it was a bad look for Tennessee what took place, but the overreaction by the national media was absolutely ridiculous.
If you're national media and if you're going to highlight the conduct by a select few at the end of the football game, I just need you to highlight the reasons why they got to that point. Like, be 50-50 on it. Because the officiating is a bigger issue, guys. It's something that happens every single game. It's been happening for years. It's a bigger issue. It really is. And, safety is a huge issue. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying it. But at least be even. That's all I'm saying with the national media. I'm okay with taking the lumps and being criticized because what's right is right, wrong is wrong. I'm not making excuses. And the reason why I'm not deflecting so much about talking about other schools and, hey, look at this Ole Miss did it. Ole Miss did it. Here's the reason why I'm not deflecting and using and taking that stance. Once I explain, you'll understand. So when you're a student athlete here at the University of Tennessee, you understand that you can't do the same things that a normal student can do. Meaning, if you get arrested, it's going to be on the front page. If a normal student gets arrested, no one's going to care. You understand that. Why? Because you are an athlete at the University of Tennessee. It's a gift and a curse. The lights shine bright on you all the time. And that's great for your brand. That's great for recognition and visibility. That's great for scouts and people seeing you. You play on TV every single day. That's the gift. The curse is everyone sees you every single day. So every little thing you say can be blown up. Every little thing that you do can be blown up. And if you get arrested, like, it's on front page. That's the curse. But that's being at Tennessee. When you're at a top program, that's what comes with it. And you take it, right? Because you're at Tennessee. So the reason why I'm not deflecting and saying, well, look at this school. Look at Ole Miss doing it. Because Ole Miss ain't Tennessee. This school ain't Tennessee. We are one of the top brands in America. So when we do something good, it's going to be bigger than when another school who has a smaller brand like Ole Miss does something good. When we do something bad, it's going to be blown up bigger because we have a bigger brand than Ole Miss. And so that's how I look at it. And listen, I just understand also that we're easy targets because we respond. We engage. And this is good for business for those guys. So I just don't even engage. Don't even engage. They're not going to read your stuff anyways. If they do, they're going to use it as an opportunity to quote tweet you and try to get off some more retweets and likes. Just don't engage. But this is easy for them. And anytime there's something that's worth talking about with a big school, they're going to talk about it. If something goes on at LSU, something goes on in Tennessee, they're going to talk about it because it's good for their brand. So we're wrong. What happened shouldn't have happened. We accept that, responsibility. But we also are saying, let this be what sparks change. Because it needs to be. It needs to be, for sure.
Because Tennessee fans had every right to be upset.
Heck right. Yeah, man. Dude,
right.
Dude, when I watch the game, I watch it with, like, zero emotion. I'm sitting there, and I felt bad. Like, I felt like an inadequate fan. But, like, that's how I watch the game. I watch it, and I process it like I'm watching film, and I can't watch film and process stuff when I'm emotional. So I watch the football game like I would watch film. So I'm sitting there, no emotion. One time I showed emotion, Ben, and that is when the referees were huddling like a pitcher and whole infield at a baseball game. What y'all huddling for? This is an easy call, huh?
Don't bring baseball into this.
I was like, what y'all huddling for? This is an easy call. It's a safety. It's a safety if he gets tackled in the end zone. It's a safety if he throws a ball and it's intentional grounding in the end zone. This is a safety. So yeah, I was very emotional then. I was frustrated other times where I just put my hands in my head and just put my head down because I knew that we just didn't have the horses. We didn't have the horses. And then from, other times I would put my head down on like just technical things I would see here and there. But like for the most part, I was just watching the game, man. Just watching, take it in. But the officiating was bad. And that needs to be the conversation too. You want to talk about the trash on the field? Cool. Whatever. Talk about it. We wrong. Whatever. But also talk about why fans got to that point. Because it's going to happen again. It may not be in Neyland Stadium, but it's going to happen again if you roll out officiating like that week in and week out. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. 865-255-03. Got some players beat up in this football game. So don't know the status of their injury on a Monday. Josh Heupel will talk to the media today. He probably won't share much either on a Monday. The fear is that Hendon Hooker will be out a significant amount of time. Hopefully that's not the case, because he's been great for Tennessee. Live here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Guys, your health right now is more important than ever. I recommend Low T Center. That's where I get my levels checked. It all starts with the annual wellness exam, where they do a comprehensive health assessment exclusively for men, making it quick and easy to take care of your health. And now they offer monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatment. Most insurance is accepted. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment and make your health a priority. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, live here at Beatty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. Lifetime warranty on most new and pre-owned vehicles. Never pay over MSRP for new vehicles at Beatty Chevrolet. The guys here will trade for anything. Also, will buy your vehicle as well. Over 150 vehicles in stock. BeattyChevrolet.com. Let me go to the phones. Iris Networks Hotline. Hour number 3 is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. And we got Andy, Louisiana Vol, and Chip. I'm calling all y'all out so people know. If you ain't on, that means you dropped it. You were impatient. Just kidding. Andy, good morning.
Hey, Swain. How you doing?
What's up, Andy? I'm good, man. How are you?
And not much. Just woke up a little bit ago. Man, I tell you what, our section, they really didn't throw nothing, like on the Tennessee side. But
well,
most of the
crowd didn't.
Fans started.
Say what?
Huh?
I said most of the crowd didn't throw anything.
No. But I feel that it's going to get worse, and it's a good thing they didn't storm the field, because I feel if they don't fix the officiating pretty soon, things are going to get really bad, because they're going to want to start trying to, change it.
Yep, they got to address it, or they'll see this again, and maybe someone does get hurt in the future.
I mean, we're going to Alabama this Saturday, and if the officiating is worse like that again, what comes to shove? What if fans ended up, if say the refs do it even worse this coming Saturday? and Tennessee fans decide they want to do something about it, and they storm the field, or do the same thing until something changes. You know, it's like you always say, you got to stand up for what's right. I don't agree with it, but I'm just saying some fans are going to want to try to do something about it.
Yeah,
you know,
and
with the Tyler Barron thing alone, I think. What do you think on that play? I think he wasn't all the way down, was it? Didn't they strip the ball out?
it was a bad call, terrible call. I thought the refs was poor. It was a bad call. Tennessee should have been awarded the touchdown. It was a clear scoop and score. So, Andy, man, get you some sleep, man. Get you some sleep, Andy. 865-255-03. Thanks for the phone call. Let's get to Louisiana Vol. Louisiana Vol, good morning.
What's up, baby?
What's up?
Man, y'all done changed my conversation and all these different calls. So one thing for sure is Tennessee is disrespected in the national media, like y'all saying. That game should have been on ESPN, no doubt about it. It was one of the better games, like y'all said all last week, game of the week type game, which I know they do this way 2 weeks in advance before they do that. But I just think if that game's on ESPN, you get some better officiating and things like that.
That's no excuse for that bad officiating.
Right, no, and I understand that. Just whenever you on ESPN, you got different angles. Like SEC Network don't have all those different angles, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I would assume on ESPN we would have that angle where you could see a better call for the first down, which I don't think it was a first down. The spot was horrible, no doubt. But I think it should have been moved to at least go get the change to check it again. My second point is I played a little college ball over here at Nicholls State University in Thibodeau. Played DN.
Yes, sir.
There was adjustments made in the second half on the D-line as far as the stunts go. In the first half, you could see the DNs was kind of getting upfield, what you're supposed to do, and then your defensive tackle flashes. He comes around, which, man, Byron Young does that amazing. The fact in the second half, he started crashing in the middle faster than letting the DT, but the DTs were getting blown up. I think it was really more Ole Miss did their film, because I'm telling you, they destroyed our stunts for the most part. And if you watched a lot of the other games everybody has, they definitely would get to the quarterback more. I just think Ole Miss was ready for it. And it just goes to show, like y'all been saying the whole time, we don't have enough depth. Our DTs are tired, and they can't make the guard and tackle take you where the DN comes around scot-free to blow those plays up like you want to. And third off, grab a rope, grab a tree, and hang that referee, because it's horrible.
Ooh, strong reference there. Yeah, I mean that officiating crew was bad, man. It was bad. I mean, there's no other way to slice it, and I don't care if it's SEC Network, ESPN, Jefferson Pilot. You know, those players on both sides put their work in, and they deserve a fair game. And the referee's job, and the late great Rocky Good, long-time Tennessean, ref in the SEC, would come back and ref at our practices and would do our scrimmages. He couldn't do Tennessee games because of his allegiance to, his ties to Tennessee. But I remember this like it was yesterday. He said the referee's job is, number one, to maintain a level playing field and to make sure that the rules are enforced for the safety of the players. Maintain a level playing field. I don't care what game it is. They deserve to have the game called fairly. And I'm not saying that our caller did not, doesn't think that as well, but Georgia, Kentucky, that was a game inside of the conference for sure. You had two ranked teams, one number 1 and the other one number 11. But too much money for the SEC to be talking about, well, we didn't have the crew to send our best officials. Please, you got too much money. Too much money for this to be an issue. Let's get to Chip. Chip, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. What a game.
What a game.
My goodness gracious. I'll start with a positive. So my first game, I think I was 9 years old, was in the rain against Auburn, and that was my first time seeing or even knowing anything about running through the tee. So just judging by the pictures and some of the video that I saw, I mean, that interest puts what I saw to shame. Like, I never thought it would get more chills. I mean, I can't imagine what that would have been like live to see that and to hear that stadium rocking and that light show. I mean, that's awesome. And, you know, that pretty much catapulted Tennessee, best entrance college football. Nobody can come close. That's a fact. That's not even subjective. I mean, that's just amazing. So,
Chip, can I stop you? Awesome. Can I stop you right quick and make a quick little point right quick, please, sir?
Sure.
I think now we can stop with the just win football games whenever you have the administration want to do things to enhance the fan experience. That was an example of that, right? Like, we've been to many football games in our years with Tennessee fans. We've seen Tennessee run through the tee, hundreds of times. But Saturday, that was different, right? like that was different. Well, that's what this administration is trying to do with enhancing the fan experience. So let's shut up and understand that you can chew gum and walk at the same time. You can do both. You can try to win and also make it better. You don't have to just we're going to put everyone, hey, janitors, don't clean up because winning is the most important thing. Or, hey, marketing people, don't put any graphics out because don't do it until we win football games. No, you do all of it, and then the players and the coaches, you give them the resources to go win football games. So that's an example of enhancing the fan experience, and it was unbelievable, man. It was unbelievable. Sorry, Chip, go ahead.
No, absolutely. And then going along with that, so more on the negative with the recruits seeing that, the recruits that actually came and saw that, obviously, that had to put something in them as far as, a positive experience and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And then when things, when the incidents happened, people started throwing stuff. How, in your opinion, how do you think that will affect, recruiting? Do you think that's going to be obviously I don't see how it could help, but if it would put a big hindrance on it. And then my next question, okay, you guys have touched on it. That play, that the scoop and score that was called back, okay? Obviously, another caller brought up a great point that I didn't think about, the fact that, we, even though that helped them, we did not score on that drive. However, we did pin them back. We got a safety and then turned around and scored again. So, we came out with 9 points after it. However, who knows if that scoop and score counts, the trajectory of the game could have been different. I don't know, but that was a really good point that he brought. But the play itself, I still can't wrap my head around why they would call forward progress. I understand they're trying to protect the quarterback. They're trying to do a better job of protecting quarterbacks and stuff like that. But even in that case, I cannot sit there and say that there was any kind of forward progress. Am I wrong in that? It was very quick. They jumped on him. One was tackling, one stripped the ball. That is not forward progress. I have no idea how they can even do that. And that's why I feel that, like I said, that game was stolen from us. I think, just based on some of those things. I know we could have done a better job and certain drives and everything, and everything. I get that, but come on, man, I can't. I just don't understand.
Hey, you're not wrong in feeling that way, Chip.
You guys.
Hey, thank you, Chip. You're not wrong for feeling that way, for sure. And when I went to go watch the broadcast and I heard Jordan Rogers mention player safety, I was like, really? Really, Jordan? Really?
Well, of course he's going to mention that.
Really? He snapped the ball, didn't move, and as soon as he was contacted, a split second later the ball comes out. Player safety? Really? Really? No, man. Referees wasn't ready. They wasn't ready, just like Matt Corral wasn't ready. Either that or he tried to do a Statue of Liberty type of play, hide the ball behind his leg or something and fake like he was handing it off to throw it. Either way, Tennessee defense was right there and ready. The whistle was not blown at all. Referees were sprinting, following the touchdown, scoop and score. My question is, why didn't you throw down the beanbag? Because if I'm the head of referees, why'd you run down there then? You ran down there because you knew it was a fumble. And if you knew it was a fumble, why didn't you throw your beanbag down? Because that's what you're supposed to do. So either way, you ain't do your job. That's a strike. Either way, referees.
And all those refs aren't running down to the end zone if they had called forward progress in the heat of the moment.
Exactly.
If y'all called forward progress, why did all of you all take off for the freaking end zone?
Exactly.
They always come in and stop the play when they call forward progress.
Dude, the ref and the back judge right there, the two refs that are behind, the line of scrimmage, the one that spots the ball and he runs out of the way real quick, and then the white hat ref, dude, they don't even when it's blown, when this forward progress has been stopped and it's dead, they don't even move. They don't run down and follow the ball.
Right.
But they ran because they thought it was a touchdown too.
Yes, they did.
Oh
They did not call forward progress until they were huddled up in the end zone well after Tennessee had celebrated the touchdown.
Bums.
That's when they called forward progress, and that's not how it's supposed to go.
Dude, on one time we was going to the south end zone, and it was a simple penalty call. Dude, it took them forever to spot the ball right. They had it on the left hash, and they moved it to the middle, and they finally got it right, moved it to the right hash. Like, just a simple spotting of a football after a penalty they had trouble with all game. All right, I'm going back to the phone, man.
No surprise. No surprise that it was the officiating crew that forced the SEC to put out their last statement following a Saturday. The last time the SEC had to put out a statement about getting a call wrong was that same crew because of the Mississippi State-Memphis game that we talked about on this show. You know how much you have to screw up for us to talk about a Mississippi State-Memphis football game on this show that Monday? It was that same officiating crew.
Yep.
No surprise.
Yep. Simple as that. All right, let's go back to the phones. Now I'm getting mad again.
Me too.
Jay, good morning.
Yeah, we got Jay.
Swain, good morning. Look, positives out of it. Danny White and his staff have done a terrific job with that stadium. Swain, that atmosphere just looked amazing. I think those fireworks are awesome. The running through the tee with the spotlight on it, all that stuff. That was awesome. And I've never seen anything like that. And there's no other place that can recreate that. You can only do that at Tennessee, in my opinion. That kind of atmosphere with those fans and everything. I thought Josh Heupel and those players coached and played their rear end off. There's probably some things Josh Heupel would like to have back, play calling wise, but overall, I mean, they played their rear end off. But a lot of fans or a lot of people are going to ridicule Tennessee fans, and the fact of the matter is, there's one thing I hate hearing. Well, don't put yourself in a position to let the refs dictate the game. That is a simple-minded and simple way of thinking, because that's not how sports go. That's not how games go sometimes. Sometimes two teams are evenly matched, and it's going to be a razor-thin margin of error. Or sometimes a team is undermatched or overmatched, and it's going to take everything they have to beat that other team. Kind of like when you're going to the game and you already have a paper-thin roster, and then you're missing like three of your starting offensive linemen, you're missing your best offensive player, you're missing one of your starting defensive linemen, you're missing your middle linebacker, kind of like what Tennessee was going through, one of those scenarios, And so a ref can cost you the game, especially when it costs you a touchdown. We're not saying, well, we would have got that first down and then maybe we could have scored. No, you cost us a touchdown in a 5-point football game, man.
Yep.
That cost us the game. So I hate hearing that. Well, don't put yourself in that position, bro. That is whoever thinks that way. That is a simple-minded view, because sometimes games are on a razor's edge, and a ref can absolutely cost you the game. Now, I understand there's human error, but that's just ridiculous. So you could tell I'm still upset. I don't think I've ever been upset like this over a game. That game probably took 3 years off my life, but those boys and those coaches played and coached their hearts out. And they were doing it with, think about this. We had a walk-on running back from Division III Maryville College playing in that football game.
Yeah. At the same time as a guy that hasn't played all year long, and Jackson Lampley is someone that's a former walk-on, and Dane Davis, and Ollie Lane, who's not played really at all since he's been here, and the reason why he's playing is because of injury as well. So, you add that together, and that speaks to what Heupel and company are dealing with, and it's actually remarkable that they've been able to get as much as they've been getting out of this out of this football team. I want to highlight something right quick.
Sure.
There was times in the game I would watch us on offense, and I was telling the gentleman that was sitting next to me, I was counting them out. I go, look, man, there's 5 guys in the box for Ole Miss. There's 5 guys in a box, 3 down linemen. He had 2 linebackers. It was literally 5 guys in a box. Jay, let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
How many offensive linemen do we have? How many
total or on
the field at one time? How many?
5.
5, right? So if you add Hendon Hooker, who is now a runner, can be a runner, and then you add the running back, which could be a blocker, dude, that's 6 versus 5 in your favor. Jay,
right.
They were stopping our runs with 5 guys in the box.
Yeah.
After Kay got hurt, after Jabari had to go out, and
without Tyon.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here, I'm like,
you're already without Cooper, already without Kingston Harris. K'Ron Calvert might be a starter, and he's not playing.
And like people over here talking about play calling. Play calling?
Yeah,
right. What play can you run?
Exactly.
What play can you run when
exactly.
you can't block 5 and you have an advantage over them?
Swain, you know what I thought about during that game? It's something you said. I swear to God, I thought about it. We couldn't block anybody, and I thought about what Philip Fulmer said when he told y'all, it doesn't matter what play you run, as long as, Coach Fulmer would say, as long as those big uglies up front take care of business, we can run any play we want to run, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I thought about. I said, it doesn't matter what the Heupel calls. We can't block anybody.
Yep. Hey, Jay, let me put it in perspective even more for you. Let me break it down a little bit more for you. So when you see 2 safeties and you see an outside alignment by the cornerbacks, you're thinking cover 2. Well, cover 2s are put in place to stop deep threats. You have a safety covering one half of the field. He can kind of play over the top, help the corner. Well, that's 4 guys allocated towards the pass. You have 7 for the run. Cover 2 with 7 guys in the box is automatic run. Like, I want to run versus cover 2, 7 guys in a box. What I don't want to do is run with 8 guys in a box, single safety coming down. You don't have enough to block that. But 7, you should be able to run all day versus 7-man fronts when the defense is playing cover 2. They had 5 dudes in the box, and we couldn't run at one point during the game because of the injuries and lack of depth.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Now,
and it shows to me, Swain, sorry, Ben, but it shows what kind of coach and what kind of Heupel and this staff are, and what kind of kids in terms of character and just competitiveness that we have on this team. To me, this highlighted it more than anything. Heupel still put up over 400 yards of offense, and the kids played their rear ends off. And to me, it just, and I'll just say this, and I'll get off here, guys, but because I know you got other callers want to get on. The refs have to be held accountable. You are costing these kids games.
Yep.
I know these coaches are millionaires. They'll get over it. These kids are putting in time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears. They're in the weight room. They're on the practice field. They're in the study room. You cannot be this egregious. You cannot be this bad. I'm so sick of seeing it. And Saturday night was a powder keg waiting to explode. You had just the history with Lane Kiffin and how people feel about him. You have all these bad calls. You have a coach that is clearly trying to slow down your offense with fake injuries. And then that fourth down call was just I'm not condoning it, but it was just the fuse that just lit the powder keg, man.
Yep. Not condoning it, but we understand, and that's why you got what you got. Thank you, Jay. Let's get to Martin Vall. Martin Vall, good morning.
Hey, what's up, Swain? Good to finally talk to you, man. I was up when you were up there, man. You gave me some good memories. Thank you.
Hey, man, thank you for calling, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Hey, I think this actually goes back further than this game because here's the deal about Tennessee fans. You can say what you want about fans. We got long memories, all right? And so let's start right here because I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but perception's reality. Hey, man, we remember John Fulkerson getting hit in the face, assaulted, having to go to the doctor's office. And what did the SEC commissioner do? Nothing. I mean, I've never seen a commissioner of any league allow a legitimate assault on the court, and that changed the direction of our season. We remember in the baseball season in Alabama, it's little stuff, but it all builds up over time. We remember it's a check box. We remember Alabama getting away with murder to get into the baseball tournament. That's little stuff, right? And then we see all that build up. We remember it now as an ACC crew. We kind of feel like we got a raw deal in that spot with Hooker, and hey, we took it, got nothing, and I don't know if Stanky could talk about any of that at all. But at the same time, we also remember when we look at the national media calling us petulant children and all this, and we're the worst, yada, yada, yada. It all builds up. And then you got this Lane Kiffin guy goading the fan base. Ooh, that's a difficult situation. So here's where I think he nailed it this morning, and it's a fine line that Danny White's got to walk. And I really appreciate a lot that he's done right now. I really, really do. That game experience was amazing. I think he's definitely listening to the fans. But here's a point where he has to be really careful because he's right. There is no excuse for people throwing what they threw out there, and that's dangerous. I hate what happened to the band and the cheerleaders. It made me upset that happened. But he also has to finally stand up for this other crap because it's going to happen again. Hopefully, I'm just being realistic, right? I'm just being realistic. When you get 100,000 fans that feel wrong again, I've always thought, I've had people come up to me, well, it's a conspiracy. They're against it. That's not true, but perception is reality. I work in public relations, and those people perceive it, and it's like, I can't really blame you, even though you're not really right, but we're in a game of tag right now, though, and we're clearly it. That's legitimate now. So I just wanted to offer that to see what your thoughts were, Ben, and just.
Hey, man, thank you so much for the phone call there, Martin Vall. Like Danny has an opportunity not only to stand up for Tennessee fans, right, and the officials and the officiating that's been an issue. That was an issue Saturday and has been an issue for years. But here's the opportunity to stand up for all fans. Other schools that I'm sure ADs have looked at the officiating and said, "Come on, man, we can't have this." Like what Danny White did and Chancellor Plowman did is what they had to do. It's what you do in leadership. You cannot condone that. So stop getting mad at the leadership for not celebrating guys and people throwing stuff on the field. Like really, come on now, like. Emotions aside, let's use our brains here. You can't have that. And you dang sure ain't going to have the chancellor and the AD condone it and not say what they said. So don't get upset. That don't even make any sense why anybody would get upset at that. But here's an opportunity, though. Here's an opportunity to have a conversation, a real one, not just some written statement, not some hogwash written line, but really pushing for action. It's bigger than just Tennessee. It's bigger than Tennessee. We have sat here, and you're right, Martin Vall. You've named different incidents that's happened just to Tennessee. But what about other schools that have had poor officiating, caused them games? And Jay said, well, he don't care about the coaches. They're millionaires. Coaches have gotten fired, and kids of coaches have had to move and have their lives picked up and have to move somewhere else because they were fired over a game. And the referees influenced the outcome of that game. So this is bigger than just Tennessee in some water bottles and mustard bottles and a golf ball, even though it's serious and it's severe, but it's bigger. It's bigger. It really is. I'm not deflecting, and I'm not saying that we're not accountable because we were wrong. It was wrong. DR Vol, good morning, man. It's good to see you over the weekend.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed it. Probably one of my favorite trips to Knoxville, honestly, and got to meet TC in Athens and Big Orange Mac, two people I've been listening to on the show for years. So that was an awesome feeling. I want it to be known I did not throw anything.
I don't believe it.
No, I didn't. Now, I almost threw a fist. We had a guy behind us acting a fool. He was a Tennessee fan, and he was trying to, I don't know, he was trying to get a rouse out of the Ole Miss fans in front of us after and you knew they weren't going to overturn that first down. I mean, you could see it coming a mile away, and tried to charge down there, and it was on. But my call is going to be more positive, man. That in-game experience was phenomenal, and I know them checker and it being a night game, that helps. But I've been coming to games for about 15 years, man, and Danny White's doing something right in there. A lot of people tweet and, they want to attack him, but I tweeted something positive about it because I really, really enjoyed myself.
Hey, man, it was special, man. I mean, like the little orange, what was it, the little orange line that went around the stadium? Like I was following
it. Was incredible.
like I was following like a cat, man, that would be in a cage or something. Like I was following it, and then like the T opened up and it was dark and the lights hit that power T. Oh man,
that was my favorite part.
I had chills, man. I had chills.
I did too, man. I had chills, eyes water a little bit. It was amazing. Which I would have brought my kids to this game, but a friend of mine, he brought his 9-year-old, man, and he said he was ecstatic. He's hooked, and that's the kind of stuff you look forward to. And part of why I got mad at that fan sitting behind me is because we had a kid like 10 years old, and he was acting like that, and he looked freaked out. And there's no place for that, but it is a bunch of pent-up aggression. I mean, over the years, we've gotten screwed, and there's a reason that happened. You got crappy officiating, and Sankey just wants to clutch his pearls. He's probably got carpal tunnel and not do anything about it because he doesn't care.
Listen, I understand why he ain't going to say anything publicly about it, but he better start doing something behind the scenes to fix it, or this is going to happen again. I mean, you don't want to throw your own officials under the bus because now you'll create a firestorm and an anthill or a mole hill, and it will be the fans will be questioning every single call every single week. So you don't want to make this a public thing, but I think in all season internally, you need to truly revamp how you send out officials, officiating crews. Make sure that you go out and get the best. Think about hiring full-time employees because, listen, man, we're about to add in Texas, Oklahoma. We're about to create this super conference. You will have the money. We can't be having poor officiating. So I'm not expecting Sankey to say, hey, yeah, we know our refs suck tonight. I don't expect that. But I do expect some change in all season because I know it can't be changed during the season because you got a limited amount of crews. Now, that crew needs to work less. Send their butt to the Conference USA or something. But I want to see action. I want to see action in the offseason from the SEC. That's what I want to see for sure. 865-255-03. And something I love seeing, especially when I'm on the road, is the official UT license plate. It's orange. It's checkerboard. It got the power T on it. And it is available at your county clerk offices across the state of Tennessee. $15 of your $35 annual specialty plate fee will go to support student scholarships. So talk to your county clerk or visit alumni.utk.edu. So ask for the KA plate, which stands for Knoxville Alumni. 865-255-03. Let's try to get back to the phones here. The Irish Networks hotline. Brad. Good morning, Brad.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, you were talking about the SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey was going to look into things they can do to prevent kind of what happened Saturday. But I've not heard anybody talk about this. But Ole Miss started the week off by talking some stuff, putting stuff, the chess versus checker stuff, and Lane Kiffin is pretty much, doing what he does best is, kind of fanning the flames and stuff like that. But the SEC office doesn't do anything about that. And then we get into the game and we get in situations where we got bad officiating and we get points taken off the board, and the fans in the stadium are frustrated, and you have what happened Saturday night. So, and what gets me is the people on the Ole Miss side is kind of taken aback and acting like they're all appalled and at the behavior, but they're the ones that kind of started the fire, and the SEC office didn't do anything to kind of, throw water on it, basically is what I'm saying. Is, do you see anything about the SEC office kind of telling people to kind of cool it on their Twitter accounts and try not to get stuff started during game weeks?
Brad, I just don't think it's worth doing that. I mean, I think honestly, I like it. I like the back and forth on Twitter. I think it's good for I think it's good for the game, to be honest. I think Lane has been good for college football. I mean, he's not your stick in the booty type of coach. He has personality. I actually think it's good. I don't think what happened Saturday with the things thrown on the football field, we can go and point to what Lane Kiffin tweeted or Ole Miss account tweeted, because we see official accounts throw shade all the time after a game when they win. It's one of the best things about late Saturday and Sundays. We get a chance to go see some of the official accounts. So I'm probably not going to be on your side on that one, Brad. It doesn't bother me at all. And I've heard the reports about Ole Miss, fans throwing stuff in the stands, but it still doesn't. Again, it doesn't mean that you throw stuff on the field. Like, both can be wrong. Both are wrong. So I'm not going to sit here and deflect and go, well, he did it. He hit me first. Well, but that doesn't mean you have to respond. And it'd be one thing if you're throwing stuff back at them, like throw it back at the Ole Miss fans, but those things are thrown on the field. So for me, it's just not an excuse. Like, I can mention poor officiating. I can mention also that we were wrong in the same breath, because both are true. So I'm not going to sit here and blame Ole Miss fans. I'm not going to blame Lane Kiffin's tweets. I respect your stance, Brad, and I'm just not there with you on that one. I'm not there. Let's get to Rodney and Austell, and then Trent. So yeah, appreciate the phone call, Brad, and thank you for sharing your opinion, man. We just on two different planes on that one, man. Let's get to Rodney. Rodney, what's up, man?
Good morning, fam.
What's up, man?
I lost my voice. Man, my voice is gone. And I didn't go to the game.
Dang.
All the things I'm hearing y'all talk about is facts, right? About the poor officiating, all the people we down to the water boys playing, and we still had a chance to win the game.
Sure did.
And I don't understand in my mind where you can walk off the field with 3 seconds to go.
Dude.
That kid would never play for me in his life. I helped him to the transfer portal. I mean, I had a Florida fan on the phone. I had a Georgia fan on the phone. And I'm telling him, we're going to win this game. We winning this game right here. Hike the ball, see him fumble around in the backfield, and then run off the damn sideline and smile. It's like, oh, yeah, you didn't get sacked, but dummy, you didn't throw it to the end zone. It's just like, I can't believe that.
It's the worst play this year, college football.
I'm like, that locker room, oh, my God. Could you imagine that happening with Al Wilson in the locker room?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Man,
It would be an ugly scene.
Talking about throwing stuff in the field, we'd have been throwing stuff in the locker room.
Oh yeah.
I just don't understand not knowing what's on the line, the time, what you have to do. I never thought about running out of bounds. Just don't take it back, but don't run out of bounds. Throw it up. Give us a chance.
Josh Hyper talks about strain, right? Strain. That was not it. And if I'm in the locker room, man, I'm looking at you sideways. So that dynamic, man, I'm telling you, that's gonna be something to watch. I mean, how do you put 7 out there if Hendon Hooker can't go? I'll be surprised if he goes this week, and I'm hopeful that he's not hurt for the year. But how do you put 7 out there? And what's so disappointing is the dude got so much talent. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen a quarterback this talented in a long time. There's not 5 dudes in the league that can throw it the way Joe Milton can throw it with that arm strength. But in between the ears, it's like, yo, you're out of bounds. And I'm really trying not to rip on and dog on my players out. Man, you got to have some recognition. And your players on your team are looking at you sideways, as they should. Man, get you some Earl Grey tea, some honey, and some lemon, Rodney. Rodney lost his voice. He didn't even go to the game. He was sitting there yelling at the TV and lost his voice. My goodness. Let's see if we can get Trent in here. But first, got to share with you guys my Low T Center because they are the go-to for men's health, exclusively for men, and now they offer monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments, providing convenience for you in this time of busyness. So they send the treatments right to your home. Professionals walk you through how to administer your treatments. It's real simple. It's real easy, but it first starts with the comprehensive health assessment. You go in, get your levels checked. It's really quick. It's really easy and are really important, so that way you know all the numbers that are important to your health. Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. 5 locations here in Tennessee, 2 in Nashville, Chattanooga. There's 1, Tri-Cities, there's 1 right here in Knoxville. Let's keep it going. I guess we'll have to go a little overtime today, Ben, huh? Which is all good. Let's get to Trent. Trent, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I love your show. I like it. But I just want to have a question to ask.
Yes, sir.
You had mentioned about the whole scoop and score play,
Mm-hmm.
and I was watching the game, and I was thinking, the play was blown up, and I thought he was trying to run a fake.
Mm-hmm.
And
me too.
I just didn't get that, and for them to take the touchdown away, and it's just bad that the SEC refereeing is just not good. And I just feel like that they just need to have a whole clean slate of new referees because, they cannot continue to do such bad calls like that. And, like I said, Knoxville was a powder keg this past weekend. With the atmosphere and everything. And, the game was just taken away from those kids. Those kids really worked hard and, and for officiating to dictate a game like that, it's just disgraceful.
It really is. It just really is a spot on, man. The SEC is a luxury vehicle, and we think we can put regular gas into it, and this thing is going to last without the engine blowing up or being on the side of the road. We've been putting out this piss-poor product of officials for the last couple of years, and it hasn't been a big deal at first, but it's becoming a big deal. It's becoming a big deal. We got to invest. You got to invest in your product, because your product is not the product if you have poor officiating, when you have blatant calls being missed, and then you have no explanation. There's no explanation for the scoop and score. You got referees running like it's a touchdown. No beanbag dropped on the fumble. No whistle blown. Got to be one or the other. Got to be one or the other. When you have a basketball player run into a defender, it has to be a block or a charge, Ben. It got to be one. It ain't nothing. It's a block or a charge. Which one is it? When it's nothing, that's when you have questions. Are y'all even watching? Are y'all paying attention? It has to be something. Vol in Birmingham is next. Vol in Birmingham, good morning.
Morning, guys.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Nothing much, man. Thanks for going a little over to get my phone call this morning. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But, there's so much to talk about. Poor Joe Milton. Golly, man. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, pretty much you're going to, if Hendon can't go this week, you're definitely going to see, wow.
HB.
Yes, HB. You got to. The locker room's going to probably push you to make that decision. But on these refs, aren't they making decent money to work 10 weeks out of the year? Right now, currently, as a part-time job?
I'm sure they are.
I think it's like $60,000-$70,000 a year from just a quick Google search. To work 10 weeks, that's not bad money to do what they do.
It needs to be. It needs to be less.
They're definitely putting out a less product on the field. But in my opinion, the easiest way to fix it would be to make them full-time, for one, and then after each game, just like they make the coaches and the players get up there on stage and take questions from the media, they should make the refs do that. And once they become full-time, then they can make them do that. And then when they have to answer questions for calls that they made on the field, this will get fixed in an instant. But the problem is that they get to make these calls, and then they get to hide behind a wall and not take any questions, not answer to, what they've done. And so it's never going to get fixed. If you can do something and then go hide, then the issue's never going to get fixed. And I don't care what Greg Sankey says about, there's consequences, but they still do it week in and week out. And it's not just our games. It's games across the SEC.
Yep.
And we should have the best of the best, because we have literally the best of the best.
Yep.
So there shouldn't be an A team, a B team, a C team, a D team. No matter what ref team that they send to you should be the A team.
Yep.
Because you have enough money to make sure that happens. So if they're not an A team, then get rid of them and go find somebody else. Because I guarantee you there are plenty of good refs across the country that want to be in the SEC for the money alone.
Yep, got to figure it out. Man. The transparency idea, I love the idea. I don't know how realistic it is, but even if you don't make it like that, hey man, you blowing calls out here, we are docking your pay. We are docking your pay for this stuff. Like, it has to be some type of accountability. I don't know if there's any. I don't know how much there is, if any, because we're seeing it week in and week out. Vol Birmingham, you're right. You're right, man. You're right. Ben's over there getting fidgety, man. He want to watch some Pittsburgh Steelers highlights from last night. So let's hurry up and get to Volstorm, get him out of here so he can watch Pittsburgh Steelers highlights. Let's get to Volstorm. Volstorm, good morning.
Nobody cares about his Pittsburgh highlights.
Man, what's wrong with you, man?
Well, this is what happens when you give your all for Tennessee.
You acting like Ole Miss players right now. Ain't nothing wrong with you.
No, I'm not out there taunting anybody, so no, I'm not acting like an Ole Miss player.
Let me tell you this. Hold on. Let me tell you this, man. It was good to meet.
Yeah.
It was good to meet your wife. Good to see your daughter again. Officially meet the redhead. So I just want to let you know that, man. It was
That's
cool.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. You got to meet the redhead.
Yeah.
No, I knew that had to be Corey Miller was the coach over there, was getting those Ole Miss players back, because I sat in the north end zone, so I got to see that up close and personal.
That's good, man.
But when you have a hostage situation, do you send your worst negotiator in?
No, he ain't supposed to unless you want some casualties.
So, given the fact that this was the first night game at Neyland, that it was Kiffin, with everything, all the factors weighed in, why do you send in your worst officiating crew?
Yep. They lost control of the game. I mean, and I'm making another basketball reference.
They lost control of everything.
Yeah. I'm going to make another basketball reference, but like in the first 5 minutes of the game, the referees in a basketball game, they set the tone. So you're supposed to adjust to how physical the referees are going to let you play. So they're going to call hand fouls, things like that. Okay, we can't do that this game. Also, like if it's two teams like Duke, North Carolina playing and it's a rivalry game, you gotta stop all the in between trash talking. Like you gotta nip it in the bud now, call early text, because you have to control it. If you don't, you're looking at a potential fight breaking out later in the game or someone getting hurt. So the referees didn't control it at the beginning with good calls, and they allowed it to fester and fester and fester, and that's what you got, which, again, was bad, and there's no excuse for it.
No, and frankly, with everything that went on in game, it's no wonder what happened.
Yep.
I mean, when you got bad calls, you've got a hostile crowd. I mean, it's a wonder this hasn't happened in other places, but of course, it happens in Tennessee, and the national media wants to blow it up, which I don't care what they do. So, but I will say that in all my years of going to a Tennessee game, that was the best fan experience I've ever seen. The light show, just everything involved with that. Danny White is really doing a good job. I love how Spencer got his due for Checker Neyland, and it made me proud to be a Tennessee fan. Guys, before I go, I will say you can't say that the Tennessee fans won't fight for this team. See you, boys.
That's right, Volstorm. Quick programming note, tomorrow we'll have on Josh Pate at Late Kick. Josh does some work there with CBS. He's been doing a really good job covering the SEC, and we've had some listeners, right, Ben? Let us know that they want Josh Pate on the show. So we're making it happen tomorrow to talk about the weekend and the SEC and all this stuff going on. So we're gonna bring on someone that's been doing a really good job, and look forward to having him on. So that is confirmed and booked for tomorrow. If you missed any part of the show, go back and check out the podcast. Ben gets it up real quick. Phrasing. 865-255-03 is always our number here, and we'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. live here at Betty Chevrolet, Parkside Drive. Over 150 vehicles in stock. And here soon it might be 149 because we need some more room over here in the Swain Mobile. Lifetime warranty on most new and pre-owned vehicles. Beatty Chevrolet will trade for anything. They will even buy your vehicle without trading. So Beatty Chevrolet, your go-to home of the warranty for life. Their website again, BettyChevrolet.com. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. I hope you have a great Monday. Be back tomorrow, Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. Peace and love.